finest contenders.
Sorry, what?
You watching where? YouTube or Twitch?
Allowing us.
Oh,
empowering
YouTube.
us,
YouTube is
honor
delayed.
the giants of the past.
Really?
Yes. I think it's delayed by like.
Is the
I think it's
magic of the
delayed by like a
present.
minute or something like.
Never mind. It's
2
okay.
minutes.
I watch
Delay,
YouTube. Watch
delay,
videos.
delay by 2 minutes.
Epic stories of tomorrow.
It's like 1 2 seconds video, you know?
No,
Okay.
1 minute or 2
Gather
minutes.
at the final
Really?
proving
Yes.
Mm.
where the path to victory is
ទៅចង់ខំឡងខំខលតែតែ
cheers of the
You know what? I was just watch your stream.
always guide the way. The Aegis of Champions arrives in Hamburg, Germany. A beacon of challenge that shines around the globe. 3 teams compete for ultimate glory. Only one can seize immortality. Who will emerge victorious? The battle begins.
Only 3 teams left. No more time for preparation. That's done and dusted. You have to be ready to show up today. This is where it's about to happen. This is where you make a name for yourself, Jenkins.
Yeah, and I said this yesterday, and I'll say it again. No matter what happens, it is devastation of the highest degree that we are losing one of these teams today. You have XG, the pride and joy of China. Ame has some of the best history in all of Dota. Like, carry players, they respect him. And on the other side, you have Satanic.
Yeah.
Probably the most standout new player of all time. You have 9-class, bunch of newcomers. Like, either way, it's devastating.
Well, look, I know that our viewers, whether you're here in the arena or at home, are ready. And I just got word, so are our teams. So let's start bringing them out on stage.
Where's Nits? Hey, Nits. That's an class one.
Huh?
That's an class one, it's not?
You mean that? You
Nine
mean that's
class.
needs? You mean?
Hmm?
You mean needs?
No, I'm just joking. Yeah,
So you mean needs, huh? There, you mean that one?
the
That phone
console
guy?
near that
phone
ball.
guy? Near no one, you mean? Next to no one?
Between tall and ball. No? Yeah.
But it's wrong, man. They're supposed to be tall, man.
The strongest teams to come
Nits
into the
doesn't want to be tall. He is tall, man.
competitive sphere. Your veteran knowledge, of course, and no
Nits is
one.
very
You
tall, no?
have three TI newbies when it comes to Satanic, 9-class, and Ducalis. So what exactly is this 5-stack going to be able to do against their opponent?
Oh, the music though. Oh.
Choose wisely and crush those responsible.
I'm new with the serious place.
Extreme Gaming!
It
Oh,
was
Team
only
Asian
9
dudes.
hours ago this team was walking out on stage to secure themselves a spot in the top 3. They could do it yesterday. Can they do it again today? We crowned them as the team fight specialists, but how do you answer that? Are you able to bring that A game
I wish I could
again
increase
when
more
it
than
comes
this
to
one.
it, when it is that final day of the international?
To be honest, I feel like adrenaline
if I watch
powers
YouTube,
you
I can
through at
increase
this
it.
point. Like, these guys are in the lower
Hmm.
bracket finals of TI. I think they can absolutely do it.
But there's a
And
video,
what's
no?
crazy to me is that if we're looking at this matchup, the team that we can say is like more dominant in terms of team fighting and raw skill is Extreme. That's what it looks like this tournament. This is not how it's been all year, and P-Vision is more like they're going to cheese you on the map.
Last time they met, P-Vision did beat them 2-0 at TI, and it was the game number 1 was one of the weirdest games that we've seen in quite some time, ending with only 9-3 score, where there's only one team fight.
Why is man so angry, man?
Just 9-class at his finest, making sure that it's going to be in his hands. He doesn't even die there, and they just end the game. I think 9 Class is the best player in the world when it comes down to buying time, understanding what needs to be done. You were talking about these lotuses, all the stuff that he does on the map behind enemy towers, killing couriers and such.
Ronald, you know what, that game,
I think it's very
the last game
important to
we
not
played,
give him the hero
we
that
won
he
the game.
wants to
I
play
didn't even
with.
get
But there's
MMR
no
because
doubt
it got
about
abandoned.
Monkey King, but I'm pretty
Really?
sure
What?
that
How shit?
Yeah.
definitely have a couple of aces up his sleeve.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but I
also the
played so
fact
well,
that
ma.
I feel like actually has to figure out the right hero to fight him.
Because you want
in the
AFK, you know?
lane.
I mean,
think
like,
about heroes
Lights
like
were
Bane,
abandoned.
because the way that
No.
9 Class likes to play is
Yeah,
running around,
abandoned.
he's playing creeps, and Bane is like the perfect hero for that.
That's
You
true.
see him, go to sleep, good night, go home, stop the pull. So I think this is going to be like one of the few things that they could do against 9 Class.
Something for chasing him essentially, because like the way Bane wants to play in general is running around in the trees. Like, you even see Bane's pick up a quelling blade just so they can like cut little tree paths and hide. So something to match 9 Class. But he's been doing this for so long. He has been doing this at such a high level that I do feel like in terms of playstyle,
What is this 9 Class,
it's
man?
very difficult to match him.
What is this person,
Especially
man?
if Astini and 9
No,
Class
I know it's a
cook
person, but like, what is he there?
people don't really understand
What do you mean,
the
what's he?
series.
Yeah, it feels
Like,
like he's gone through the trials and tribulations.
is he
of every
Indian
hero that
or-
could potentially try and
Oh,
stop
no,
what
no,
he
no.
does, but
9
there
Class, I
is
forgot, man. Shit.
no end in sight.
He
It feels
is,
apart
I
from
think,
banning out
like
the
German.
I do have to say, Astini
Polish.
riling up the crowd,
that.
getting the energy going. If any team is going to benefit off of a crowd buff in this
That
series,
Amar is, Amar
it's
is, you know?
definitely P-Vision. I think they love taking to the
Let me
stage.
find
They
it for you.
love
Let me find it
hearing
for
the
you.
audience and everything that they get to do about just
Excuse
playing
me.
good Dota.
I mean, we're
He's
talking
Russian,
about
Russian.
Astini, we're
9
talking
Class
about
Russian.
9 Class, but
Russian.
I think Zhao Wade and Almay have also been cooking some pretty incredible heroes for him. They played
You wanna know
Clinks
about
for the
Amar?
first time. They've been
Hmm.
picking a lot of anti-mage. Chaos Knight, Lacoste, as you
ATF.
mentioned yesterday, going for the fastest
ATF.
Jordan.
neutral item, the tier 5 neutral item. At
Well, that looks
35
so Indian,
minutes.
no?
This is stuff that
I
we've
mean,
never
Jordan,
seen
of
before.
course.
This is stuff that even if
Yeah.
you're, you know, the big brains of P-Vision cooking up
Let me
this,
show you my
like,
Punjabi powers.
crazy, wacky gameplay, you've still never played against it before. Both sides are cooking here.
I'm gonna be worried about how
Punjabi
deep
there.
this hero pool is. It feels like
Just
every
when you
game we
Punjabi.
see, Ame is just bringing something new out for himself, and we can see a pretty good comparison here. There's actually only 3
Oh my
heroes
God.
that overlap between the two of them here. Of course, something very unique for Satanic is that carry Tinker there, but yeah, Ame playing the Alk, that's very unique to him if you compared any carry
This must be
player.
the least overlap that we've seen out of any comparison so far.
And then
considering
also you
that they
see the
play so many
difference.
games.
The difference there, you know, Army is like more like he has the more active role, whereas I think Satanic has the more greedy roles. You know, the greedier heroes.
Yeah.
I also want to point out, you know, we keep saying Ame is this uncrowned king, but it's like he's been here before. So even though we talk about P-Vision having a crowd buff, I think there's something in stability of having been at this stage before, having made it so far time and time again at multiple TIs.
Yeah, I mean, this is his 7th TI. Ame is just a legend for a good reason. The LGD run at TI8, he got 2nd place. It was him and X-Noah, by the way. And then LGD TI10, it was him and Shinkyu also getting that 2nd place. A lot of achievements for Ame, getting so close so many times, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling this is his year.
Really, Lacoste, you're all in
X-Nova
that
was,
way.
My
was
bones, yeah.
in OG
This
also?
somehow makes it so
Once
far
upon a time, yeah, man.
every time.
The patch is also really favorable.
Just for a while.
This type of playstyle where the game is sort of slower, you get more time to farm, you get this helm, and then you hit creeps, and you know when to join the fight. You know, so I think this could be his year.
Well, I don't want to stall this out any longer. Our players are now ready. They're out on the stage in their booths, so let's get this lower bracket going.
P-Vision versus Extreme Gaming. Game 1.
A best of 3 to decide if you're going home or going to the grand finals. A chance here for these two teams to make it there. Our game 1 draft on our screens now, and we do wonder
Hold up,
who
I got
exactly
scared
is
just
going to
now.
be targeted, who is going to be able to excel
hell?
and show their strengths in this series.
Is this a prediction for the entire draft?
An Aegis, that's what they're going to draft first.
And an Aegis. Well, you have to take Roche at some point.
Oh, it's the opposite way.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be seeing a Witch Doctor. That was one of them, right?
Yeah, the crowd is happy. Slark is out.
I mean, also the Mars, right? Like pretty interesting. Like we saw a couple of really good performances from XXS on the Mars, and we highlighted that they are the team fight team. You know, Mars is the hero for that.
It's probably the perfect hero, I would say, for this
Wow.
team. Like the way that it lets you split up fights is very
Well, it's
important.
cool, no?
But I remember XM in an interview like ages ago. He said, "If you give us SF, we will win with SF, and then you will ban SF." So they still value it. We've not seen a huge amount of success from the hero, but I feel like when we have seen it, it's been picked in scenarios where they needed other stuff. They needed some spirit type hero, and then SF was picked as the answer there. And I don't think it's that. I think if you draft an entire draft around SF, it's very good, especially if you can also flex it into the carry position.
Yeah, we saw yesterday NGX having Medusa and Shadowfin. It didn't really work out for them, so I think Shadowfin definitely needs a specific setup. You can't have two greedy cores, because he also takes a good amount of farm. He also wants heroes to go in.
តែកាត់ឈឹកស្មរំរៃម៉ៃឡាំងឡែ
Heroes, especially offlane, maybe carry, because this hero is going to be carrying. We're talking about Shadowfin from the mid role, and XM did play it 3 times so far and did.
You guys should be ready with snacks, you
He's
know.
probably better
Watching
Slifer
TI.
as a mid hero right now after the little nerfs that he had in the last patch. But we'll see. I think it's still open as a flex for them. And I think I like to also mention that the fact that whenever you're playing high level dollar like this, it's very important to have control over the mid section of the map. Something like SF or Sniper, you know, you shove the wave out and you can pressure the tower. I think this is something that maybe actually felt like it brought them success in previous series, especially when they had the Sniper. So they're trying to find a hero which you can pick early, but also not get counter, right? Because we talked a little bit about the Sniper, where you don't really want to open the drop it until you see your matchup.
Yeah.
I think SF has a little bit more leeway with that because you can move it to the carry.
Both of the teams are putting a lot of pressure, having I would say this is a flex.
You
pick for
can't beat
Vision.
them.
I agree.
I think
Yes.
they're trying to bait this potential sniper that could come out, something that we've seen yesterday that they did against the same matchup, and I kind of feel it that this could be position 4 or position.
How old is this Satanic now?
They want to run if it
19,
I
18,
was thinking the exact
I think
same
it's
thing
17.
because I do think
17. Holy
that,
shit.
Invoker,
So young, no?
the current way that you play him, getting the Dom, you're playing around Cold Snap, tons of summons. It's very good against SF
Oh,
because
is
SF
he-
mid wants to go
think
Blink
it's
and
17 or
Yasha and
18.
Kaya. He doesn't get the BKB until later on, so
He
it's
didn't
almost impossible to
participate
get
there.
the Requiem off because of all of Invoker's stuns. So because of that,
Most of them, they are younger than
thinking,
that.
okay, this is going to be an Invoker
I mean,
mid, but
Sumal did
of
win his
course,
TI
there was
on
a while there,
16.
9 Class was playing
16, yeah.
Invoker in pro level pubs before this tournament.
What about Anna?
Support
CM Red?
Not a
Anna
mid
is
lane.
18.
People were playing
It's
it.
also the fact
Oh,
that
okay.
you can easily
Oh, Subi was the
SF
youngest, no?
if SF is mid
Subi
as
was the
invoker
youngest.
support. You know, you have the tornado and the cold step like you
And?
guys mentioned. So I feel
How old are you, Pat?
you're probably gonna see maybe
Bro, I'm already old, man.
from that and move into the carry, which is more safe.
Bro, I'm old, man.
Yeah.
Considering
I wish I was younger and I'll go there too, you know.
But the other option
Compare
is
to them,
go
like,
for
well,
really
you're
strong
ancient,
support. Us in this
Yeah,
support
and
can
then
secure
they will
the
write
roads and
again.
protect
They will
the
write
SF
in the
the
channel.
lane.
Oh, hello,
Those are the
dominant
supports
meta,
that are
huh?
going to be definitely
I do love the bans coming out from Extreme Gaming, by the way. I just want to take note that that was the exact same ban opening that Falcons did against them yesterday when they beat them in that game number 3. And then, of course, you continue it on. You want to take out more of 9 class hero pool, the Pudge, the Act, just everything that is too annoying.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of ET. ET on the main stage of TI, he does have 100% win rate over 6 games for a good reason. This is something that has been paired up with another team fighting offlaner, especially like these Marses that can keep them in place, so ET lands a really good stun on top of them. It's also a hero that amplifies your damage, so you have Invoker as well, could be insanely good.
It's
And
also
also-
a block pick, right? Because XG really likes to play this hero.
And they've looked really good on it. Teamfight counter initiators is exactly how they
Big
like
cast.
to play.
Hey, on the other hand, I feel like these two heroes, the ET and Invoker, they're both kind of weak against something like Clockwork, you know. So I would like to see a Clockwork here, probably like dealing with both of these heroes from Paravision, and the Clockwork also serves as a bodyguard for the SF, regardless of where the SF is going to lane, mid or carry.
Did you guys like the clock when it was seen yesterday on the side of P-Vision?
The Clockwork?
Whoa.
When he was just talking about it,
Yeah, I
and
think-
Warlock.
it's gonna be picked up, and the
I think Clockwork through this whole tournament has looked like a very strong hero. People have gotten a lot better at utilizing
Nova.
the cog knockback. I think just in general, people have skilled up when it comes to Clock. It's probably just an underrated hero coming into this. Warlock SF lane seems a little weird, right?
Yeah, it's not the partner that you want to have with Shadowfin, because usually he doesn't have a problem with the sustain, so most likely
And
maybe
also
the Shadowfin being mid.
Yeah, and also SF doesn't like to push
Big
out
shaman.
the wave in the safe lane, right? Because
Yeah.
Warlock, you're going to use Fatal Bond. So I think the lane probably is not that great. So,
Right.
like probably it's going to go mid like what Lacoste mentioned here.
And the reason I bring up the Warlock is because Clockwork would
Quick,
also
Kun Kao
go
is
for
good.
but they go for Nyx.
Wow.
Kun Kao.
I mean, Warlock and Nyx is a very, very good combination because Warlock is a team fight hero, and Nyx kind of does the other thing, right? Because whenever you're playing into Warlock, you're trying to dodge, you're trying to avoid the rock, and Nyx hunts you down.
Nyx pretty
Let's
much
go there
makes
so
up
bro.
for
It's like a team come true, no?
And Warlock does the same thing for Nyx.
Isn't it, guys? Let's go there
It's
so.
a very rare hero that we get to see. It's
expensive
only
too,
been
bro.
twice at this tournament.
Yeah,
He's got
expensive
one
also,
win,
yes, sir.
one loss for himself.
It's a big counter to Elder Titan.
Yes.
So it really makes it very, very difficult
Bro,
for Elder
you go
Titan
to
to
TI
set up
once,
his
you will
storms,
broke for a whole
and
year there.
obviously also really good against the Invoker here. But the downside of Nyx is
What that ought to
he is
go,
very,
man.
very weak in the lane after they remove the one-shot.
Will it be in the
Yes,
Sarak man, Picasso?
there-
Hey,
there's no
Picasso!
recovery mechanism for
After that
Nyx
come back
Assassin
now,
now. You need to
everything
have a good
sold
lane.
there. Everything on mortgage stood.
Wow. And
They have to go
Void
walk
Spirit.
again, man.
Well, we're gonna get some epic team fights in this match. I can tell you that much.
I also want to see which one of these two heroes is going to be played as a position 4, either Void Spirit or Invoker. I mean, we did see yesterday position 5 Enigma from JJ. It did look insanely good because he was stacking 3 camps at the same time, making sure that enemies are not getting the stacks and still being able to scale into the mid and late game with the itemization that he was going for.
You know, in the green room a while ago, somebody said 9 class is gonna play Void Spirit today. So maybe that's what we're gonna see here.
Well, who said that? You can't just say somebody said that.
Somebody, I'm not gonna reveal who.
No, that's
Oh,
fair.
it's
You
a
can
Meepo.
keep it
secret. Okay, I
So you
That's
think it's more
Meepo.
likely to be a
Had no?
Void Spirit that's going
Maybe,
to
you know,
support than an Invoker?
Because they've been
Where are your twins?
really
Yeah.
crafting about what melee heroes could replace
Oh.
the slug.
Okay, I understand.
Dawn
that.
One of
Breaker.
the most difficult heroes to beat catch. Like, it's almost impossible to catch Void Spirit. Kind of fits what 9 class wants to do. Be very annoying. You have 2 astral step charges. You have the simulate is also very difficult to catch. Be annoying. If you get the shard, you can farm the camp. You just
mean,
put
rock
down
control,
one and you're gonna be getting the
one-sided.
farm. But to your point, Jake, it's about this Dawnbreaker. I assume they pick Nyx Assassin to block the Dawnbreaker and then take it for themselves.
I think so. I think so. You cannot pick Dawn into Nyx. It's like Nyx Silencer, but Warlock and Elder Titan had already been picked, and Silencer has played as a 5. So they picked the only 4 position that counters Dawnbreaker that PV is willing to play, that 9 class is willing to play, which is Nyx Assassin, and then they get the Dawnbreaker uncountered. And we saw yesterday in the Heroic Series how strong
Yeah.
Dawnbreaker can look, especially into Enigma as a counter to the Black Hole. There's straight up nothing you can do. It's an AoE disable global BKB
I
piercing.
mean, you're not winning that team fight against the Rock, the SF Requiem, and the Dawn coming down. You know, it's so difficult. And at the same time, why their draft is so solid right now? If you don't take the team fight, there's a Nyx hunting you.
Ah,
with
that's
the
a
Solar
faceless
Guy.
With the
Say.
Dawn coming in. Yeah, exactly.
It is so
Oh, yeah.
hard.
Cheap setup.
GG
Goes
game.
pretty much anywhere on the
Yeah.
map, but also looking at the
Don't have
conditions,
faceless.
you do have a lot of team fight
You're
as well.
faceless like
Invoker
GG.
with Cataclysm, DT, ulti,
Yeah.
and
Next time though.
But it does take
Hope so, man.
I think this lineup is
GG.
a bit on the slower
Yeah,
side.
wait,
If
ban
it's
na.
gonna be Invoker from the mid,
Oh, ban lah, tak boleh.
with the helm of the
Tak lah
Dawn,
masuk
and
nomor
this
sini
is the
bahan
position
oi
4.
yo
Still
business
gonna
lah
be a
GG.
good lineup. You're gonna hit
Ah.
Enigma,
Kalau
you're
ibarat
building
kau
into
pick
helm,
tu.
building into drums, these type of items, you're building into potentially a fight. But
Hindi
just
siya
wanna
lah,
keep
ban
picking
carry
up,
yang
and
ngot.
you're gonna hit the crucial timing with
Dia
all
ban.
these summons, all these shields, and
Ban
you're gonna
Sven
be
dia
able to
Sven
take
dah side
fight.
dengan
You need to
ekstrim
be
berhal lah.
Yeah, I agree. I do think an Invoker mid lane
Huh.
is better here. All of the things that we talked about against the SF,
Kau
cold
dah pick
snap,
kalau one-sided lah.
small instances of damage, like all very good against
Yang
Dawnbreaker as well. She ults in,
dan
Invoker
Void,
drops a
Enigma,
plus cold snap,
Elder
which she
Titan
can
dan Invoker,
definitely feed.
we selang
Whereas
nak
a Void
kecil
Spirit,
deh.
you're kind of initiating, and Dawnbreaker ult can counter that initiation, so you probably want to put that on less
Invoker.
of an important
Tak ada
role.
Invoker.
I also feel like for 9 class, Void Spirit makes a lot of sense. He's really hard to kill. You just need to get level 6. That's the only concern here, is that he can't really run around pre-level 6.
Dan hero bersilence tu yang gila lah.
vulnerable like he could on Monkey
Dan
King.
silencer
Jumping
ekstrim dah
trees.
pick silencer kalong lah.
I mean,
Dan silencer rajak dia.
seems like a very different replacement for the Slug and Monkey, right?
Silence.
The way you set up for the gangs, like,
Pick
I think
silencer
it's a lot
aja.
harder as a Void Spirit. Like you see
Nah.
someone, you have to jump in and then land.
Ada
later
pick
and
silencer
the
pick
disable
itu
is
siya
not
ki
as,
bagi
reliable, I would say, as a
skill
Slug
rented tu lah bro
or
skill
Monkey
kita
King.
le.
So I think the execution level of this hero, if it's indeed a position 4, is going to be
Bertit
way,
BKB
way
ni
higher.
kita share tang mana dah.
Something else that 9 class is doing on these heroes.
Mana
is
Fiona Jong
positioning,
ni kah?
right?
PV.
That's something that at least
Oh.
Void Spirit is pretty good to do.
Hadap titang ni.
Oh.
Enigma ya.
Hitam.
Oh,
Enigma.
what are you
Hallelujah.
doing?
He
Zeus.
knows how to
This
deliver
guy
on the
won.
main stage.
PL lah,
For
Bel.
real.
Long terus
Yeah, I mean, there's
Yang
not
pick
really
Zeus
much in
dia.
the way of clearing hearing
มัน
the
กำมวย
Fuck.
ฮิว
And also
ฮิว
it's a very good lane
มันกำมวย heavy hitter เลยนี่เสีย
which I suspect.
They don't have
I think
carry.
the reason they wanted the
Alright.
Phantom Lancer here, and it's also
Yeah,
really
we
good
might
against
carrying-
Invoker. You
carrying
dodge
and trying- carrying
spells,
Invoker,
you can
let's
land the
say.
combo.
P-Vision
And
will
they
be
have
some
scored
recently
that.
with building Battlefield. I'm thinking about, these jugs maybe. They
Oh,
got a lot of bunker.
Lạ bên đây cũng ta rồi. Không có tin anh class là khai
He
này.
built into
Này
Radiance,
ơi.
not the best thing against Nexus
Void
assets,
Spirit.
but, you have Cleave, you have Radiance against PL
Spirit pas
Illusions.
slow lah
Tadi-
game tu.
That they are working
Tadi
on.
tu sedih juga
If you're
rumah.
thinking about Jugs, I think you should focus
Tapi
on
sulit
the
ya.
ground, but maybe Juggernaut,
Nak kata mana? Invoker.
Lifesteal,
Oh, Phantom Lancer.
Spot.
you've Radiance
Yeah.
against the
And you have the
PL.
rage
Oh,
against
Look at this
Tight
Aster.
Hunter. Turun Tight Hunter best lah.
There you go.
It felt
Oi.
really good against
Ah,
the other
betul.
heroes of
Dia
Extreme
unik.
Gaming, and I think against PL, it's
Naik kelas lah kayu kan. Kena
it's
siapa kayu
decent.
void
You know,
spirit
you
lah.
can slowly clear through all the illusions, like kite the fight for long enough
Yeah.
to kill the PL.
But the thing you have to worry about is the BKB piercing disable from the Dawn and the
Amin
Warlock,
lah,
which is going to be very, very
PL.
annoying for the life stealer in the team fights.
Phantom Lancer.
Yeah,
Oh, berselang
100%.
lah dia
And
tadi.
I do think
Ah.
there comes a point in Dota
Ah,
where
yeah. Muna
Lifestealer
counter
does
ito
not
eh.
answer PL. Once he has enough
Edik,
items, once he has a pipe to back him up, so the Radiance
do.
is clearing
Chika.
through
Buka.
the
Ban
revealing
chika.
the real PL.
Eh, what is that
Dalam-
skill cast
I
Q
do think
QWE?
late game, PL
Huh?
destroys
Invoker
Lifestealer.
QWE.
But are they going to be able to get there,
Ah,
right?
QWE
We've seen
tu.
Phantom Lancer only one time so far. It did not
Tu
have
boss
any
lah.
success,
Tu
and it
boss
felt
attack,
like
boss
the
game
Twos
tu.
were able to close the game out
Hai mà
a lot
belum
early, and then
pengiat
those
bit dekat
items
L
across
dekat
the
dekat
field
LR.
a lot of
I
time.
mean, I don't think they need to
Tu banyak
I
bit.
think in the early
Tu
stages,
berdispel
the
lah.
team fight
Kalau itu tak
with
kelak
the
lah.
SF
Dispel
Warlock and
disarm
Dawn
lah.
is just going to be
Disarm,
enough
disarm.
to carry them through the game. They're
Disarm.
going to get the
Ya tu,
objectives
eh.
easily, get Roshan
Ah,
on their
kata Zim
hand.
lah
The
kayaknya.
game does not have to get to late game for the PL to
Mana
beat
kelak
the
lah.
life stealer.
I
Kata
will say
Zim.
when
Kata
players
Zim
ahead,
itu
I do
belong-
really like Lifestealer
itu belong.
against PL. And let me just
Oh,
read some of
Picasso.
Satanic's records real quick. These are
What's that?
records
What's that skill that
across
that
all
throws
TIs.
QWE
away?
Number one
of
for
Picasso,
stats,
of
number one for
Picasso.
PM, number one for XP per minute, number one for last hits per minute.
Invoker
This guy
QWE.
is good. If
The skill that
somebody's
What's the
disarm,
name?
disarm skill.
It's definitely him. I think this game is going to be very, very soon. I think we're going to be seeing only a couple of kills in the
Just
first
have
10
it.
minutes, and that's kind of benefit
Sorry, what?
both of the teams. I also feel that Jinkyu will need
Oh,
to
yeah.
do a lot of work because he is
That
pretty
blast,
much the
yeah.
only stun. He's going to be setting things up. Sure, you have Warlock ulti, you have Dawnbreaker ulti, but he needs to be the one
Everything's
in the
following
front
him.
line, pretty much.
Yeah.
Maybe disarm then you there.
All right, I like where you guys are putting this. It feels like there's going to be so much
The
on the
Enigma
line
ult,
about
I
these
guess.
lanes, exactly how this game is going to go out. But I want
More
to
like
get
ni.
some words of
Kind of
confidence
stupid,
from one
kau
of
shoot
our
dia nak kawan.
coaches,
More.
and that's Ian Slacks.
Ni.
Absolutely words of confidence coming from this man.
Do you have a good
many,
hair, no,
many
Picasso?
times before.
Yeah.
And
From the
he's
from the
already
from
got
the
it.
tak leh.
You feel confident now?
Lu dah kena hacan tu dia.
It's impossible not to
Tak
feel
tersenyum dia.
energy
Oh
from
ya
the
dia
crowd,
tu
from
macam jok dia.
CIS, everyone cheering for us. Thanks, guys. Impossible to fail. You know, that's not what everybody says. I've been reading a few threads. Says, you know, ban the Slark, ban the Monkey, or playing against Paravision, easy win. Do you agree with that?
This TI team is stars align. I thought Nigma would win, and then they lose. And then I have no option of hero. They ban full hero pool. Then I look, everything purple, and it's Void Spirit. They couldn't count with it.
That's a coach right there. I look around, see something in the room, and go, that seems like a good hero. Hell yeah, all right, I like that.
You came dressed for it.
Yes, thank you. I am actually Void Spirit. I'm glad I can motivate you, my friend. All right, let's get serious here for a second, though. We do have some pretty interesting picks here. Phantom Lancer, what the hell is this? I would never ask that to the director. Do you have any idea what they're planning with that hero, and are you ready for it?
Easy money.
We tried 2 times ourselves. We always lost. Maybe they make it work. I'll be happy to see it work on the sense PL can work. Then I play next game.
I think the
But I
rush,
think it
like
will
the
not.
rush push one lane.
Okay, does not think it's going to work.
Yeah.
All right, all right, all right. Now, I know I'm not supposed to ask a father about his children, who's his favorite child, but out of the team here, come on, you got to make one choice. Who's going to be your MVP on this game to get you a first win?
9 class.
9 class! All right, we'll see it. Will he be the 9 class that we've seen so many times before, or that position 7 centaur? We'll find out very shortly. Thank you so much, my friend. It was a pleasure to see you, and we'll get it to game number 1.
Thank you very much there, Slacks and
Thank you,
Estine. Indeed.
Slacks.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Barclays Arena. Let's get into the action here. The lower bracket final, and of course, is Extreme Gaming up against P-Vision and Fox. We're getting some exciting heroes coming from the final day of the International. 9 class bringing out this Void Spirit. And obviously on the side of Extreme
Strike
Gaming,
direct.
we're getting an Arme PL.
No, he
I
was
think
trying
we
to
saw
get the
step
thing
it's
wa-
only been
the
played
Yeah.
once in this tournament. Did not win.
Nope.
Arme, he's ready to try and show us how it's done.
I mean, we're in for a
Oi.
treat here, right? We have
Oi, oi.
masterminds, of course, from both coaches, but so many iconic heroes coming in. Even though, like you said, you don't
Mabsura.
yell too much. A lot of these
Hi,
players
hi.
do love to play it. It just
Oh,
unfortunately
yeah,
doesn't work in a lot of situations nowadays. But we're in for a treat for sure. Look at all the team fight we've got, Owen. Some of these games, they've gone, I mean, most of these games have gone quite long. And if this one does go long, holy moly, look at the wombo combos that can come in, right? We've got Exort Invoker, so we have the potential for the Cataclysms later on with Black Hole. And then, of course, from the side of XG, Fatal Bonds with the Dawnbreaker, with the SF. Let's see who can execute
Oh,
better.
snap.
And talking about some of these other heroes that we haven't really been seeing too much. You know, Jinkyu has had some insane games yesterday. He was popping off time and time again. Definitely giving them the confidence to bring in something that we just haven't been seeing that much as well. The Nyx Assassin. I mean, why haven't we been seeing this hero? And what do you think's made it this game for the one that Jinkyu said, hey, give me the Nyx Assassin?
I think Panel touched on it pretty well there, right? They were trying to cover and make sure that this Dawnbreaker can have a good time, but also with what he had seen already, he saw the ET and the Invoker. So a pretty good matchup in terms of mid-game and late game for that Nyx Assassin to disrupt combos. Top lane.
So we're going to be able to trade back pretty nicely here with the punches of Dakalis.
And you were asking also, sorry, why we don't see it as much. The weak lane, right? That's just what's always been the case. After they removed the Mind Flare, one-shotting those creeps to have that recovery outlet, it did make it a lot more difficult to play the Nyx Assassin in some situations.
And the PL, so why are other carries not touching this hero? It feels like they're not even considering it. I mean, we heard from Astini, right? He himself didn't have a lot of faith in this hero. So he's, of course, going to be watching with, it feels like, the rest of the world to just see what PL can do
Look at this
as a
thing
carry
class,
in this day and
Sad.
age.
On paper, we've seen, especially in pubs, it's been running rampant. It's winning a ton of games just because once the game gets to these later stages, it can be very difficult just to deal with these illusions. You tend to just run out of steam with your draft, which could potentially happen if this PL gets too far ahead or if the game gets too late and the Lifestealer isn't ahead in particular, right? It could be pretty problematic. There's ways to stop the Black Hole. There's ways to prevent the Invoker from getting spells off as XXS.
They're going to have the Sunstroke.
Oh, man.
It's going to connect onto Jinkyu.
Holy
Spike Carapace up with the blood
Oh, he
grenade.
did.
Oh, shit, no.
Laying down the blood grenades here to get that first blood secured.
A very, very strong lane that P-Vision has set themselves up top. Pretty much completely countering the Dawn and the Nyx in terms of laning phase.
Yeah, it certainly feels like it. I mean, we're seeing, right, you know, XXS and Jinkyu, they can step up, drop their spells, but if the burst of those combos doesn't get the kill, the right clicks and the chase down from Dakalis and Satanic, it feels like it's going to win out pretty much all the time.
It really should, honestly. The problem with Nyx Assassin, like we were saying with their laning phase, he hates laning versus strength melee heroes.
Yes.
It just is the case.
He's got to be a bit cautious here. Getting caught, stepped up, the Sunstroke off the mark,
Close.
but he will still be chased out here.
I look at Jinkyu, he's hugging XXS with the Carapace to try to reflect
Hugging
that
it.
Sunstroke. Off the mark there slightly though, no one. As we get the chance to look at these other lanes, XM versus no one, having a very good time so far. And same thing for bottom. We're seeing that PL, Ame, feeling no threat versus the Void Spirit and the Enigma so far here. As I don't think he will. That's probably why they also wanted this PL. They see the lane, it's a Void Spirit Enigma, and they have a Warlock, which is going to keep him completely sustained in the lane. So Ame is set up for success
Sure.
to get that farm.
Overall, if he does get this good start, hits these timings as the PL, you know, how well kitted out is P-Vision's lineup to deal with a farmed Phantom Lancer in the late
Oh, look at the damage. My lord, he'll die.
Later, in very late game, it can be very problematic. The one really good thing that they have is the ET and the Invoker combos, right? ET, we saw yesterday what Natural Order can do in later stages, especially when you're versus a hard agility carry, since it puts you to 0 for that armor if you don't have any plus armor. So can make a difference for a Lifestealer to focus fire, and also the spells are going to clear those illusions maybe a bit easier than some other games.
Sin in the mid, no one doing well to be able to match the last hits really of XM, but overall the pressure from XM continuously keeping the wave shoved in. It's getting to the point now where he's starting to get a few hits onto that tower. Some rotation coming in from 9 class.
This top lane, XXS is getting 0 CS. He's at 9-1, he was at 8-1 2 minutes ago, and immediately they're just constantly pushing him off the lane, so the problem of that dual lane, dual melee,
it's going to be a rough start for him. It's almost to the point where it's going to require some sort of big play to happen as soon as he hits the 6 so he can get involved somewhere else and pick up some action.
No, absolutely.
From this lane, unlikely to be finding anything too much with how Ducalis and Satanic are playing it against him.
And we do have to mention, right? Xingqiu and XXS kind of have been pretty strong dictators of mid-game.
They've crushed a lot of lanes.
They've been amazing in a lot of these games to get XG to a good purpose.
Yeah,
and if XXS has no game...
Sunstrike coming in.
He might...
right.
Holy shit.
Super close to dying there. Ducalis having boots and windlace already this early is proving to be very problem. This is a level 3 Dawnbreaker, Owen.
This has got to be one of the roughest starts we've seen XXS have here on the main stage, right?
I think it's the roughest start in the entire tournament that I've seen from him so far. So that lane in particular is looking fantastic for P-Vision.
Oh yeah, Satanic is having an absolute dream of a time.
They'll get
in the mid.
Oh.
Xingqiu able to make himself useful as he turns up, helps out XM take out a kill on Ducalis.
So far, 9 class, literally just been stacking neutrals. He's just running around. He was trying to manipulate creep waves, but now it's just been the stack game. DM, the nice thing about this Enigma pick versus the PL and the Warlock is it's a very passive lane from PL Warlock, so DM isn't getting sacked down here, even though this, the Void Spirit isn't really doing too much just yet. As we see no one, put the point in the Wex, he'll Meteor the camp, and they'll give the Void Spirit the mid lane to make sure that 9 class can get something at the least here. But he won't get any CS.
And talking about 9 class, obviously this was expected that he was going to be trying something different after his sort of 2 main roaming melee supports that he has been winning game after game on get banned out. In this case, of course, being the Monkey King and the Slark. Do you sort of see the concept behind the support Void Spirit?
Not as much as some of the other options that we have seen. I think there's some interesting potential with the Call of the Void that is untested, but we'll have to see.
Battle for the Wisdom. We're going to have Satanic and Ducalis pushing on. TP's coming in. XXS, he's going to get taken out. XM will turn up to make sure the P-Vision pay for this one, but not before they take out a second kill, P-Vision. I mean, they're going to have to try and deal with Satanic, but he's still not that easy to take out. As he's going to be able to step across, he's got Infested already, so he'll be able to hop into the creep. XM at least will secure the Shrine of Wisdom for them, but the Sunstrike coming in.
Oh my god.
Essentially getting the
what a timing.
4 heroes that he's getting the XP from. I mean, they may have got the XP from the Wisdom on XG, but overall, Satanic absolutely coming out on top of this.
That's a lot of extra health already for this Lifestealer.
And the game for XXS just continues to crumble.
That is an unbelievable start for this Lifestealer, and it's a hero, as we said, versus PL. We want to be ahead. He's going to have really good timing on this Radiance.
Oh, yeah.
Getting kills like that. The Lotus, as we saw coming into play massively, heals up his mana HP, has that creep, and wow.
I mean, that's huge. The tips coming out between the two of them, Satanic and Ducalis, because they know that they have absolutely crushed the start of this game in that top lane.
Absolutely, and DM, he's actually getting pressure on this bottom.
This is a lot, 8 minutes in.
This is a phenomenal start for the side of P-Vision, even though, as we said, Ame is having a free farm start. That death on XM hurts a ton. A tower drops. This is a crazy early game here so far from P-Vision. Yeah, as you said, XXS, how's he going to recover? Level 4 Dawnbreaker, almost 9 minutes in. Rarely see this from these offlaners to get sacked this hard, to get punched.
And if P-Vision are able to sort of keep this pressure up and continue to grow this early game lead and start sort of taking these objectives off XG's side of the map, when you have a PL as the carry, like how early can Ame turn up, or how difficult will it be for him to get involved if sort of the time starts ticking and he has to?
He might just have to. I see he's going the defusal route, but we'll have to see, because it is Ame. Ame really does like to hit those creeps until he feels like he has that ideal timing, but yeah, we'll have to see, because this early game is devastating. P-Vision able to maximize the farm, as we see no one. Dominator's finished. He's jungling. They're giving the Void Spirit the mid lane. They have pressure in the bottom lane for the Dominator, so they have the double Dominators already going.
Yeah.
So the farm is going to increase massively, and for the side of XG, making a rotation to Satanic, that's not possible. How are you going to kill this Lifestealer? At this point in the game, it's not going to happen.
I mean, Satanic is going to be a huge issue. The Radiance timing is going to be fantastic on Satanic.
Yeah.
And,
a solo kill.
Oh no.
You just head over and take that down. Both Ame and XM not able to do anything to save their support in that situation.
This is a massive problem for the side of XG right now. DM is already starting to take over and swing towards
just
mid.
ready to walk over. Gets the Eidolons out. No one's got the setup. Xingqiu, they'll try and run. The cold snap is going to stop his escape. Another kill for P-Vision as they just continue to dominate this early game.
And look at the push, right? With the double Dominators, with the Forge Spirits, they can really start to knock down this tower. And for XG, maybe not the best wave clear. They kind of have to take a fight if they want to try to defend this tower. Dawnbreaker has hit 6.
Okay.
So let's see the Solar Guardian.
See what happens here in the mid. With the setup, Solar Guardian's coming in. XM will survive for now.
Only just.
So they are able to keep the SF alive. Sunstrike's attempted, won't connect. But yeah, it does mean that they're not going to be able to try and look for an aggressive move around the Solar Guardians to try and give XXS that chance to catch back up in this game.
It's almost like they poked, forced it, and then just were like, okay, we got the Darnell, back up, everybody farm again. 3K lead first 11 minutes here. And I believe that is the Relic, essentially done for Satanic.
Got to be one of the faster Radiances, right, at this pace.
100%. I mean, and look at his health, right? I always try to factor this one in because of how much you get from the Feast. That's a lot at the 11-minute mark. He already has 1,400 HP on a Lifestealer with Phase and Abrasier.
And just the nature of the matchup as well, right? You can't be feeling good as the PL having to play a game into what's going to be such an early Radiance Lifestealer.
No, definitely not. Then, like you said, maybe there's no way that Ame wants to turn up until he has 1, 2, maybe even the 3rd item in particular. And this is an unreal start. Level 9 as well, too, for Satanic. Have to point that one out. So being completely left alone, all 3 cores super high level.
Yeah, the last pick Lifestealer coming in very hard here from P-Vision.
And they didn't punish, you know, this lane bottom in particular, the Void Spirit plus the Enigma. There was nothing that happened to DM. So 9 class, he's 6. DM is 9. And as you said, the towers really getting pressured here.
No, they really are. And of course, on the other side of things, you look at P-Vision's towers. The middle's taken a little bit of damage, but the side lanes, they've barely been touched at all. So the pressure really adding up here against XG in the early game.
And just not easy for XM and for XG in particular to set up a team fight, right? Because there is a lot of annoying abilities on the side of P-Vision that are just fantastic at countering these fights. The ET, one of the best counter initiators, and the Invoker, if he's not caught in the initial go, he's gonna get his spell combo
Little
off.
timings as well, you know, 9 class able to back up, pick up a lot of bounties.
Big money. 4K lead continues to grow. No one purchasing up the drums as well, too. Very early timings here.
Maybe if they can get sort of the supports, 6s online for where Jinkyu's got his available now, and Xnova, of course, has the option with the Grimoire. They can definitely try and piece together a team fight to sort of slow down what P-Vision is accomplishing in this early stage.
If they get given the opportunity, right? P-Vision is a team that really likes to play around controlling tempo, playing around these Dominators until they have that ideal timing for a fight. So punishing these Dominators, it feels very difficult. Look at the lanes.
And look at the timing. So yeah, Phase Boots Radiance, 13 minutes on Satanic this game.
Has to be the fastest, right?
XXS, nothing that he can do right now about this Lifestealer, and there we have it. Indeed, nearly 2 minutes faster than the fastest that we've seen so far.
Absolutely crazy.
Can Ame, with his PL, have the answer down the line to this incredibly stacked Lifestealer at such an early time?
They're gonna have to play for that later stage for sure, it feels like. Unless Jinkyu can start to make some magic with the Vendetta, with the Solar Guardian to find pickoffs, but they have to be careful because their damage is gonna be limited when they've fallen behind this early game. If they go for a play, can definitely get countered as P-Vision.
They know how strong they are. They're ready to stand here.
Scan comes out.
And bully XG potentially away from this Wisdom. See, at the same time, though, Jinkyu's going to make his way over and try and take theirs. And he should get away with this unless there's quick TPs, but it doesn't look like it, so Jinkyu at least able to balance the situation there.
Nice and sneaky.
Another tower taken. The top one falls, and Sam has to take out his middle as well as it falls in deny range.
Right, all 3 tier 1s dropping, and lane pressure is definitely going to be an issue. As you see, Parrot, like P-Vision can literally just kind of invisibly shove lanes with 2 heroes with the 4 Spirits plus Dominator, and Lifestealer, as you said, feels pretty free to show on lanes. They can catch him with a very, very high execution combo if he has his Radiance on in the laning phase, a Carapace comes in and stuns, but it's very difficult with their limited damage. With this start, a 5K lead, and it's very early to have this.
Obviously, item timings that XG is going to be looking towards. You know, Aghanims obviously on the Dawnbreaker, still a while away for XXS. And yeah, for the other 2 cores as well, yeah, both Ame and XM. Definitely no interest in turning up to a fight right now. So doing the best they can to scramble together that next bit of progression.
Yeah, the question is really going to be is if they can land their wombo combo in a good way versus P-Vision, and if that damage is going to be enough. Because it is significant with the Fatal Bonds, with the Requiem. Says P-Vision is getting a lot out of the map, and these auras are going to soon start to be built up for TM.
Definitely a bit of a saving grace for them that they do have, you know, such a bountiful option of ways to stop the black hole, right? It's never going to be easy for DM to just get in, black hole, Arme's PL, give Satanic the chance to kill him off. They will always have the opportunity to stop that.
Yeah, I don't think he'll build too much for the black hole this game, right? He'll build the aura so that he can just tank up his team, I'd imagine, since there is 2 BKB piercing disables in particular that can just completely counter him in terms of black hole. XM, Yashikaya is finished. As we said, though, difficult for him to get the combo off because of the ET plus the Invoker little mini stuns can cause some difficulties. But with this amp damage...
Yeah, we might see something happen here. They're looking towards the top tower.
Let's see if they want to try to at least get that tower, like you said, because
I guess the question is, if you're P-Vision, do you feel strong enough that you're turning up for these tier 1 defenses?
I think they absolutely can, right? With the ET, they have insane counter initiation.
Yes, they're smoking and coming through the twin gate. So if XG do want to try and push for this, it will absolutely go answered by P-Vision.
DM has the pipe finished. So a lot of that damage, in particular XM, who is the majority of the early game, might just get answered.
I think if you're XG, you do not want to walk into this right now. P-Vision, very, very ready for any sort of fight.
They want to take the fight themselves. They see X-Nova.
They're going to make the quick jump. They get the grab here. 9 class able to set up. That's X-Nova gone.
More HP for Satanic. That's that pipe being delivered. They can start to threaten Roche with all the summons. It does feel like they can start to poke that with the Forge Spirit, with the double Dominators. The ward is prepared, though, so XG wasn't the ready that this move can
do they try?
Happen.
Maybe if they had the Warlock up. I mean, we'll be back up, of course, in 5 seconds, but is that going to be soon enough for them to feel that they can try for some sort of risky play around the pit?
Does Xingqiu try for potential steal play with a Golem and then just running in?
I think it might be tempting.
Let's see what they want to do here.
Let's have a look. Can they get the timing here, XG? Xingqiu. He's going to try and get in, but indeed the dust is there. Put the Spike Carapace, but they've got the control with the Tornado and the Ice Wall. P-Vision, they'll get the kill, they'll get the Roshan, and they'll get the Aegis. They get everything.
They are just so ready for every single one of the moves. Decent attempt there from XG, but going to be answered immediately. Manta finished up for Ame, so he hasn't died yet. He is getting that farm. It's just the differential between him and Satanic. You know, Satanic is going to have that matchup versus him.
I mean, it's going to be exciting to see. Will it get to the point where Ame does turn up and he's just sort of able to take the game on his shoulders as a PL, as you know, the PL of age back in the day? This hero used to be able to do that, folks.
For sure. We'll just have to see, because the fact, have to factor in the Invoker spells, which have traditionally been pretty good, and just the ET aura, how much that's going to be able to do also, versus the PL of buffing up the Radiance and the overall physical damage if he can actually get on top of them.
It's not going to be easy. I mean, that's true. You would even consider that if this PL was kind of back at prime PL stages in the past, this would not be an easy draft still to defeat.
No. Definitely not.
So Ame, he's definitely got his work cut out here.
Lifestealer, it's a pretty good matchup versus PL in terms of like mid and early game, even toward later stages if you are ahead. And he is keeping himself in a good margin ahead, and he has a lot of team fights surrounding him.
Just under 4 minutes here to play with the Aegis. Almost certainly expect the P-Vision will be eyeing up these tier 2 towers.
Looking to continue constricting the map, as they've gotten all the pressure on these buildings. XG, next item is finished, so XM, Blink is done. But as you said, it's not easy for him to get the combos off versus all the disables.
Stepping up, gets caught underneath the vision. They get the setup here with the Remnants. XXS will try and drag himself out with the hammer.
He's gone.
But he is gone indeed. Another kill for P-Vision. As they just have to be so careful how close they get. P-Vision will immediately make the jump in numerous ways, keep the pressure on. Fortification comes out momentarily, but P-Vision, they're not going anywhere. They'll stick around, take out this tier 2 20 minutes in.
And no one, he's got the Aghanims already done. And as we said, he did go the Exort facet this time around, so the Cataclysm potential is there.
Absurd amount of damage. Mid-9 class.
XM.
Ready to start playing around with the Remnant will miss, and XM does get the chance to grab that haste rune. trying to fight back against 9 Class, but doesn't want to head up to the high ground.
Off the mark with it. If he gets him with that there, he's dead. Very likely, XM. Perhaps getting a little lucky, the 9 Class does not connect with that
Well,
remnant.
they're going to try and do something and get Arme involved.
Let's see what they can get. It's been a very quiet game.
Yeah, this seems like a risky play, but again, I really feel in the position that XG have, they have to try something like this to catch P-Vision by surprise. They'll find Ducalis. TPs are coming in. Ducalis, he's going to get buffed up by the pipe. He's fine. And now they're ready to turn. The Satanic is going to try and find the real Arme. They're going to grab him with the Rev, and they've caught the real one. Solar Guardian Heal coming in, but Satanic able to stay on top of the PL. Arme is gone. The Black Hole will be cancelled. They have the stun fall up as well. But XXS goes down. Satanic falls for once, but he's going to be ready for round 2. JinQ desperately trying to TP out. He'll make it away. But P-Vision, as expected with the situation of the game so far, they take these fights so easily. Extreme, they try and get Arme involved. Ducalis will end up dying to the Tormentor. Gets rewarded, though, for his efforts there with the Shard. But it's just so hard to enter into these team fights as the PL. They've got the wave clear, and they've got this just incredibly farmed Satanic Lifestealer staying on top of you the entire fight.
As soon as the Solar Guardian comes out too, Enigma can cast that black hole. As we see, he's got positioning for it. Even if it's just a second or two, it's enough. As they try, I mean, the starting on Ducalis isn't bad there, that positioning, but he's got the whole backup of the team. XM's Requiem does next to nothing, and yeah, a fantastic fight again. The Splitter as well, I believe, caught, what, 3 heroes coming through there.
I mean, these sort of fights, for XG to come out on top, they have to be perfect. They have to almost sort of find a pick-off before the fight starts. And we did see them attempt that there, but they just couldn't kill Ducalis.
Nope. And the Aegis coverage there, even though Satanic did die once, he's right back. And I think they took a gem as well there too, right? I think it was purchased. Oh, actually, they recovered it, sorry. X-Nova was able to recover his gem. But Satanic got, what, 2 more kills out of that fight also? So I'm just going to keep looking at that bonus HP. He has so much health to really go through here when they are behind.
Perfect game so far from him. 5-0-5 on the Lifestealer.
Full SNY finished up too. How do you bring this man down?
Another tower to be taken.
And XG, they were trying to really fight around that Tormentor timing just to prevent that extra gain from P-Vision, but immediately stopped in their tracks again. Blink, JinQ, getting closer. When he has Blink, then they can actually look for plays on these side lanes a little easier as well too with XM. If they do see someone split up. The problem is that P-Vision isn't really splitting too much now. Feeling their power of grouping up.
Trying to get the catch onto XXS there, top.
Off the mark.
And the space is there for them to continue taking these towers. As all tier 2s now taken 23 minutes in.
And only 1 tower that XG's been able to bring down. Yeah, this P-Vision early game is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah,
they're
playing
even
it
knocking on
fast.
the high ground already.
We've not been seeing this a lot in this tournament. 23 minutes in. This is very, very early.
There's no golem. Okay, it does come back up now. So they force people back, and then they go back and actually just farm, and potentially even look for a catch. See, 9 Class and no one looking for a setup.
And they're going to catch onto the illusions, though. Oh, well, maybe not. 9 Class. He's got the read. Arme's going to try and turn. He's going to try and bait them out with the micro. It's going to work. P-Vision, they won't try and search any longer, so Arme gets out.
Does TP back to base, though. This gets sent all the way back. I just keep looking at these lanes, and every time XG looks to get out on the map, look at the positioning. Top, Dominator plus Eidolons. Mid, Dominator plus Forge Spirits for a second. Bottom also shoved in, so difficult for JinQ to make a move, which isn't kind of telegraphed, right? Because they're going to see all these lanes shoved in, and they're like, yeah, okay, they're trying to perhaps make a move since nobody's shoving those lanes out.
JinQ trying to just get some information.
Oh, and Satanic is carrying the gem now. So he can keep toggling the Radiance, make sure he doesn't get caught by that Carapace, and he'll always just know when JinQ is trying to make a move on him. Covering their bases, not giving an opportunity on XG to get the kill on this Lifestealer.
Yeah, they're just going to get out of here, the two of them. They know that they can't try and set up for some sort of surprise play from the high ground. They head to the top side, and they do have the 3 of them up here, and it is no one TPing in on his own. Still a very tough target to take down.
He's been pretty sneaky.
That's the Aghanims online now for Arme. So a little bit more potential in the team fights
He probably wants, I think once he has that next item, then he can start to feel quite powerful, but the separation between him and the Lifestealer actually just continues to grow. Went from 2K to 3K to 4, now it's at a 5K separation.
Yeah. I mean, I guess these sort of things happen, right? Especially when it's Satanic and he gets such a fast Radiance timing.
Very true. And his itemization, you know, we have to talk about it for Satanic. It's normal, but it's very, very good this game. He's going to have the AC finished up after the armlet. So
25
super
minutes
strong,
in.
like super strong versus physical and magical.
Yeah, this is crazy stuff.
And all these wards are being taken out since he does have that gem picked up. AC, there it is. Breaking records.
Absolutely smashing the fastest timings. I'd imagine on pretty much most of these items with this sort of build-up. Just hasn't been slowed down one bit this game.
If anything, he's only been accelerated, it feels like, after that laning phase.
And there we go, Yendi.
Yeah,
No
it's
surprises.
heavy record.
It's not even close.
Nope.
Mate, looking towards the Bloodthorn next. Wants to make sure that if they do kind of get that jump in with Xingqiu, they are able to just focus the target and kill them off.
Ways away from it, though.
Radiant are scanning.
P-Vision, they can definitely look to kind of calm things down, hold onto the map, set things up for the next Roshan.
It's a quick spawn, too. And definitely difficult for XG to contest that next Roche as well. Is the BKB finished up yet for XM? I believe it is. So at the least he'll be able to potentially get that Requiem off unless he gets caught from either like a splitter interrupt or a black hole in particular.
And I think that they've got to go for it, right? If you're XG, you try and contest this next rush. You really want to sit back and have to try and defend high ground against an Aegis push from P-Vision?
It feels like they do have to.
You got to get out there.
Especially after that situation we saw last time, right? Big team fight ultimates are good and all, but when there's an Aegis carrier, it does counteract that very heavily.
And they'll scout things out, P-Vision, as they step up into the pit. Extreme, what do they want to do about this? Doesn't look like they're making any initial moves, so maybe the call is indeed just going to be hold the high ground.
They still just they have lane issues again. Look at the positioning of these lanes. Bottom is shoved in, mid shoved in, top also. They're going to smoke it for an attempt.
Let's see if they can get there in time.
It's dying pretty quick.
I mean, you see the positioning from Ducalis, DM, and No One. They're all ready to interrupt any sort of initiation from Extreme.
9 classes throwing down those remnants. XM.
Watching from the side, Xingqiu, ready with the step in, but Satanic's already out with the rage. Meatball comes down straight away, Xingqiu's gone. The sleep at the side, they managed to catch XM.
He's in trouble.
There in the spinner will get the BKB off, but the Black Hole comes in, gets produced up with the Solar Guardian. They turn with the raises, they kill off the air.
The Roche.
Satanic's got it. Aegis picked up by the Lifestealer. Armate has to be careful here how close he gets to the Lifestealer. Satanic's ready to step across. Chase down XXS as XG. They pretty much threw everything into the effort at the start of the fight. He'll go for the TPL, will make it away. XXS. They try there to interrupt Extreme. They get a kill against the Enigma, but they don't manage to stop the Roche and stop the Aegis going into the hands again of Satanic.
Attempted the black hole, immediately canceled. They'll be able to get that set up. XM survives though, which is at least a small silver lining, of course, for them, but Satanic, Aegis now coverage, next item soon on the horizon. It's difficult for them to actually get in and contest in any way. XXS getting a bit lucky to survive as CM Midas picked up for the Warlock. As you said, they want to take it to super late stages.
They do. Extreme know that that's pretty much the only way out of this game. If they could somehow push this one later and later, they have been able to do it before. This time around in this situation definitely is going to be one of, if not the hardest, to try and stop P-Vision from ending the game against them.
Yep.
But maybe if they can, we'll get to see the game get to a point where Arme can show us what the late game PL can do.
It would be so impressive to see, especially, you know, because of this ET, because of this Invoker as well too, that adds that extra complication for him.
We're just showing
we'll see
the
if he can. As Satanic, he's been queuing up a couple different items. We'll see which way he does really look to go. The BKB looking to be that probably safest option so he doesn't get his mana burned completely and can't use the Rage of the Infest.
No, for sure, yeah. If he can sort of survive in these fights on the front lines through a Rage, a BKB, and a Rage, it's hard to not see most of the heroes just dying on XG.
Yeah, absolutely.
If the Lifestealer lives that long in a team fight.
9 class also getting pretty dangerously close to an Aghanim, which is a pretty big deal this game since he's a support position. It can be very disruptive for these backline heroes.
Down bottom, No One.
XM.
Gonna find the setup. XM does have Xingqiu by his side. BKBs are out from both mids here, as they'll split for now.
They swap the gem over to the Invoker. Since there's no slot on Satanic, they're protecting no one now with that gem. So he can play safe. He can play a bit safer and a bit more aggressive in terms of pushing out these side lanes, since he'll know when the Nyx is on him. There's that BKB, still with the Aegis for about 2.5 minutes.
9class. It's going to have the setup here with the Yules into the Remnant. So this is going to be a very dead X-Nova, trying to do his best to get towards that big item pickup, wants to work his way towards this refresher. It's going to take him a fair bit of time, though.
A very, very long time.
It does have, you know, a lot of potential XP still, has the Grimoire, has his Midas ready to go, so...
P-Vision might look to force a bit here again, since they still have 2 minutes on this Aegis. Lanes are in a good position for them to do so as well.
Yeah, they're in a perfect spot to just hit the high ground, see what happens.
Yeah, at least like force a reaction, in particular, from the side of XG. They're going to smoke in the back line. They have a banner at the ready. What do you do, XG? Glyph is forced.
See what they can do after this.
But the banner is down already, so that catapult is going to survive.
They're going to have everybody back up. The tier 3's gone. Satanic on towards the barracks. They'll try and lead in. They'll have the Yule set up into the Remnant on towards XM.
The Raxes are dying.
Can they do anything? The Rage comes out for Satanic as he stands his ground, cleans up the full set top. They couldn't do anything to stop them. They're going to try now, looking towards the Void Spirit. Pike gets popped, the Infest comes in as well. They're able to keep 9class easily alive.
Too scared to commit for the fight. If they lose that fight, it's probably just the game. So just try to poke and prod. But the Rax, P-Vision just comes in and claims it. Big amount of gold acquired. As you said, the Ags now for 9class is about to be finished. DM, he's about to have a blink now too with that BKB after having the aura. So might find the angles for these black holes soon, even versus the double BKB piercing disables.
Now for sure. I mean, at the least, you know, forces out these sort of saves to come out immediately at the start of the fight, kind of leaving the area then free for Satanic to clean up in the longer drawn out team fight.
I swear they just can never get the lanes out, Owen. Every time I've looked, just completely shoved on the side of XG.
Another tier 3 falling.
It's just Creeps this time taking it out.
Ame trying to lead in. Can't touch Satanic quite now.
30 seconds.
Just burned down to the Radiance.
Still 30 seconds on the Aegis. They're getting so much done. Yeah, big items coming out, as we said. Full. Well, Lotus Orb soon being picked up for Ducalis. I think a Shiva soon finished up, so starting to get more and more answers for that PL. Once that Shivas comes out for no one, it's a fantastic option just to be able to identify which PL is real at all times, too. XG, as you said, waiting and waiting toward that later stages, but how much is it going to benefit them with how far ahead P-Vision continues to climb?
Now, Ame is close to having the Bloodthorn.
Okay.
But then finding for the opportunity to be able to weave in and out of these team fights.
Also playing into BKB, Rage, another Rage if he doesn't get the kill during that initial Bloodthorn. Yeah, very difficult. And it's only really him doing the damage, it feels like now at this point, with that single target. There's a lot of targets he's got to go through. We've been talking about Satanic, but also no one is very high on that net worth, as we see after getting that shard too. He is a problem. Oh, and they're kind of trapped in their base. Look at this. It feels like it's been a long time that they haven't been able to come outside.
All they can do is just sort of set up and make sure that when Ame steps out to get farm, he's not going to be jumped.
Yeah, true.
Hello.
They have not been able to find any
Hello.
combos with the Vendetta.
Man, the neighbors like screaming
in 30 minutes with the way that start happened.
Yeah, because of tiny little snake, like, you know that green grass snake.
And we'll see what Ame looks towards next. He's going to try and get the shard, so he just continues to get these little sort of incremental steps forward in his item build.
He's going to have
just
to...
anything he can get together before that big team fight is forced against him.
He's going to have to be so tricky in the fights because he's super fragile, it still feels like, with this itemization. It's a very aggressive build he's gone for.
And I like this build as well from Satanic. Yeah, going for the late game Maelstrom into the Mjolnir just to throw something else into the mix, which it's just going to give these illusions from PL not a chance to survive in a team fight. They're going to get cleared out so quickly.
I can just throw it on himself, run in, and yeah, it'll all die. Sure, it's been nerfed versus Illusions, as we do know, in this last 7.39D, but it is still pretty effective when you are ahead in terms of net worth like this. Yeah, gets rid of the armlet. That is a pretty nice anti-PL inventory.
Yeah, he's massive. P-Vision probably just going to sit back, look for the next Roshan.
does feel like it. They have complete control of the map. They're farming everything.
They know that there's pretty much no threat of Extreme coming out to find them, even though Extreme is trying to go for this smoke.
Maybe just claiming their shrine, just trying to get something out of the map. Yeah, crazy amounts of farm. 9 class is getting infested up, so it looks like perhaps P-Vision is going to look for a move if they do suspect them starting to get outside at all.
P-Vision on the way over. 9 class.
Jinkyu.
They look for the setup, but Jinkyu is quick with the Spike Carapace. Will be able to get away with the Vendetta as he scurries up to the high ground.
The second XG gets outside, though, immediately forced back into their base within a split second. No one.
Right, Jinkyu's got his eyes on him. He's going to try for the setup. Straight away the stun into the Requiem, but it's not enough. No one's able to put the BKB run away. In fact, he's ready to run back at them. As XM and Jinkyu have to back off to the side. They've caught Ame. He's caught in the random. Will be able to get out away from the Deafening Blast in time, but Satanic's going to try and chase on forward. They'll sneak away with the Invis. So getting out, but only just. I mean, just continue to show how terrifying these team fights are for Ame to try and get in on.
Not carrying a gem on any of the heroes, just carrying a bunch of dusts. Maybe 9 class will bring it out soon, but the 2 cores don't have it there. Okay, it's coming on the courier now for no one. That's a lot used there from XG. That's their Requiem, that's their Solar Guardian. P-Vision used nothing.
They're ready to push it. DM ready to make that jump, of course, with the Black Hole at the ready.
Jinkyu.
He's going to get caught out here, burnt down low. He'll survive, but only just here thanks to the Shadow Word of X.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know. My net is fine. Look. Oh, wait. Pop.
Spending all their gold, backing up. Roche, about 30 seconds. We saw the Requiem, the Nyx Assassin. They go on the Invoker, but something about, I actually haven't mentioned this much this tournament, but something about Invoker, of course, since he's one of those super high int heroes, his magic resist is also high. I think he got piped at the end of it too, and it didn't even do half of his HP.
It was, but close to half his HP.
Yeah,
they didn't quite get the perfect position, of course, getting as close as they could to him, but even if they did, I don't think it was killing him.
No, I don't think so. Also difficult to ever get that catch there. As we said, you know, he didn't have the gem this time, but I imagine he's going to start carrying it pretty soon on that Invoker again. As Roche, it is up. P-Vision in the pit.
XG. I mean, they've pretty much just got to take this time to try and get Ame out on the map so he can work towards his next item.
His growth is just not really there. Courier gets grabbed as well. XXS.
That's a rough one. He would have had the refresher. He would have had the money for the full refresher on the Dawn, but now that's going to be taken out of the game for nearly 3 minutes.
Roche.
I mean, they are approaching. XG, can they time this?
Cataclysm to scout.
It's going to scout everything. As they know what's up. Ame's trying to step up, but they cannot get into the pit. Satanic's going to be able to finish up. Jinkyu steps up. Won't be able to stop them from getting the pickups and the kill, though. P-Vision get everything again.
Uncontested. They just can't walk in. XG's too scared to look for that fight. And now it's a refresher shard as well that they can give either to the Enigma or the Invoker if they want. Or even maybe to the Lifestealer if he just wants to have BKB Rage. Could just look to close up the racks in particular with
I think so. Yeah, because no one's going to have another slot complete. He goes to the Eon Disc, so even now, if they do get this sort of setup to try and blow him up with the Requiem, it's just not going to happen. 9 class in the mid, look for the setup. They'll catch Jinkyu. Ame is going to try and step back in, but he's got to be careful. DM coming out with the BKB. The Black Hole will be put to stop with the Solar Guardian. They'll kill DM off. But can they now get out of the fight? XG is XM. It's going to be split from the rest of the team. He's out. Dead for 80. We'll see 9 class fall, so XG at least able to get a second kill. But can Jinkyu get out of this? The meatballs come down. Jinkyu's gone.
These fights are impossible. Even there where they kind of land most of the spells in decent unison, P-Vision just too far ahead. They'll kill, you know, the support, but,
but they just can't touch
Satanic.
They absolutely cannot.
Ame goes in and immediately has to retreat every single time because he just gets burnt down so quickly. Basher now picked up. But in terms of his actual standing toe-to-toe with any of these heroes on P-Vision, it's just not the case. As the racks, there's no glyph.
Ame tries to step up here with a Tornado. Into the Meteor on the Deafening Blast. He's in pretty much at like 10% HP. He's got to run. He has to get back. Sunstrike's going to be thrown in. Doesn't connect, but the space is there for P-Vision to push on, take out the bottom set of barracks, and definitely continue to move over towards the mid. Still 3 minutes on this Aegis. XG, if they got anything left in the tank to be able to sort of stop this.
That's Megas.
Arme's going to look for no one. Straight away, going for the backlash, but the Eon Disc is there. Solar Guardian will connect. Arme trying to get back in over towards the Invoker, but no one's able to step away. Arme has to keep his distance once more from Satanic.
He just has to dance and run away. Can't actually stick on targets. Megas are claimed. All of P-Vision's back up. Still in Aegis for 3 minutes as well on Satanic. And another item finished up. The overwhelming blink coming out on that courier. Very soon.
Yeah, P-Vision, they've certainly made this game one look pretty easy, folks, so far.
I mean, it's all from these lanes in particular, right? Top lane went, I think, as good as you could have ever asked for, maybe even better, keeping the Dawnbreaker completely behind. Bottom lane, Enigma was unpunished, untouched. And mid lane, no one stood his own. He stood tall versus that Shadow Fiend. Every move is hit, and Satanic, as you said, a flawless game, breaking records.
And coming in with that last pick, it really caught them by surprise, or at least presented something that XG just did not have an answer for.
Not
seemingly in this game so far.
It seems like there wasn't many answers for a lot of things. As P-Vision,
Satanic's in. Xnova at least does have the luxury of buyback.
Whittling down the towers.
XXS through Courier now respawning, so he does have the refresher at least.
Still 100 seconds on this Aegis.
P-Vision onto the tier 4s. I mean, they jump, they do get the opening stun on the Satanic, but not the chain stun. He's able to get the rage off. They couldn't lock him down. He turns over towards Arme. Arme has to run. Will be able to manage off the open wound slow, so he'll get back to the fountain.
The buildings, though.
Xnova coming in with a buyback. Does have the golem ready to drop. If they can find some sort of opportunity to try for a fight. Xingqiu's in, but immediate rage reaction there from Satanic. Arme tries to step forward, the silence catches him. Arme's gone. No buyback on him. The Ancient's exposed. P-Vision ready to close up this game one. DM will close it up with a black hole. Cataclysm gets put to a stop, but they will not be stopped in closing up this game. The fortification buying them only a few more seconds in this game one XG, as they will lose against P-Vision coming in a dominating fashion at the start of this series. Fogged.
This was not close.
They looked unstoppable.
Yeah, this was not close. P-Vision showing, even if they don't have their Monkey King and their Slark, they have ways to play. The passive style from XG did not work this time, trying to play this farm game for the Phantom Lancer, but he never could get online. He never could even come close to that net worth of Satanic, who he just accelerated so massively. And you have to look at this top lane, right? You have to look at XXS and Xingqiu
just because of how much we've come to expect from them, right?
Exactly.
And how much we've seen from that top lane of XG in so many of the series in this TI. They weren't able to perform here with these heroes. Maybe sort of the Nyx Assassin, something a little too risky. We just don't see it a lot, and maybe for good reason. A tough game one here for XG as P-Vision dominate and get the victory.
Expectations are high, but the pressure is even higher, and we had P-Vision stepping up to the plate here. It felt like just a significant outdraft. The way that they were able to play everything and ensure that there was never a team fight that was enabled from Extreme Gaming. In fact, there wasn't really any team fight at all at cost.
Yeah, pretty much never happened. I think this top lane that they did play, Dawnbreaker getting completely shut down, pretty much set the tempo of the game. We said that Nyx Assassin is going to need to be the playmaker for the team, needs to be in, needs to be scouting things out, trying to set things up for the Dawnbreaker, who was really playing from behind throughout the whole game. Not an easy game for him by any means. And also mid lane, like, I think no one did a very good job, and then you had the Enigma in the bottom lane who was kind of farming, and I really love the timings coming out from P-Vision in this game, understanding their own timings, going for this double dominator, drums from the Invoker, plus you have Forge Spirits, and you also have Pipe and Enigma. Very difficult fights to take for Extreme Gaming.
Yeah, we're looking at some of the replays here of just how unstoppable P-Vision were. We got to give credit where credit is due. Satanic just having a fantastic one, and this Void Spirit on a position 4, was it going to work out? Well, yeah, we got our answer.
Yeah, this was very good. I'm definitely a believer in the build. I think I've seen him do this in pro level pubs in the past few months. It's not something that's completely new for him. It's just that I think they didn't feel like they had it completely figured out, and for this tournament, obviously it's the International. This is where he had to figure out how to play this hero, and I think 9Class did an excellent job. He went for the facet where you get the extra remnants when you press W. That's not a very common thing that you see for Void Spirits. It's almost always the other facet where you get the pure damage shield, but what he was doing in the game was the normal stuff. He was running around, getting watchers, being annoying, setting things up with wards, dewarding vision. So they've definitely found something here. I'm not sure how much you can blame on the draft here, because I feel like this was just a battle of styles, and P-Vision, their style just seems to be better when both of these teams are, because I actually think Extreme played quite well. Maybe
I mean, you don't want to blame the draft for everything, but at the same time, it was really, really difficult for the Knicks and Dawn to play their lane against the Lifestealer, right? If you go back there, in the last phase, they opted to remove the Faceless Void and Anti-Mage, but at the same time, you also have to be thinking, you have Dawn and you have Nyx. You know, those heroes have a common enemy, which is Lifestealer. They don't do anything to Lifestealer. And what happened in the game was the Lifestealer kind of balled out of control, and he went to the enemy side Ancients to farm. You know, that's how strong he got in the early game, and that was a huge problem for Extreme.
It is very difficult to, theory craft what you're supposed to do in that lane, because, the obvious choice is you're playing Dawn Nyx. Just cut the wave. Just do lane shenanigans, and sure, the carry is going to free farm, but you're going to 50-50 the lane. At least the Dawn's going to get something. This is Satanic we're talking about. Do you really want to give this carry player, out of all the carry players in the world, free farm? I don't think so. This is the worst guy to do it to.
Sometimes you got to cut your losses where it is. It was a really tough one for XSS and Xingqiu as well. We weren't really sure where it was going to go. It went a little bit worse than we were expecting, but someone that can help us break it down is, of course, Purge.
Thanks. Yeah, I wanted to look at that laning stage because the net worth difference at the 10-minute mark was so completely different that we need to really look at how different this is. Lifestealer's innate. He's getting 2% heal based on the max HP. So every single time that he attacks the Dawnbreaker, he's giving himself 20 health, which is a nice advantage. And something crucial that happens here in a lot of cases is a little bit earlier. When Dawn does use a skill to get a last hit like he does here, what she does is AoE damage. And that means that your creeps are going to end up pushing towards the enemy base. And on the other side, the P-Vision side, they didn't have AoEs on their side. So what ends up happening is Satanic gets to control this large ball of creeps over here. And as a result, they also get to benefit from using the Elder Titan Astral Spirit. So even when they're trying to get last hits, Ducalis can be up here in front of XXS's face, just denying things. And then that ball just kind of sits there consistently. Even the time that they do try to kill Ducalis and they used all their spells on him, there just isn't enough oomph. And using open wounds here is going to result in both of them healing every time they hit that target. So they just don't get nearly as much response hits as possible. Again, a huge ball up of creeps here that ends up happening. They're just going to use open wounds and run down XXS. They almost kill him here. He ends up running all the way back to Fountain, which is tough. And he comes back to lane, and watch how little effort they have to put into this harass. Satanic walks forward, open wounds, and he goes back to last hitting. And now Ducalis, when he hits him, is healing for 32 HP. That means any damage that Xingqiu does to him while he's doing this doesn't matter. He took 0 damage doing that harass and sends Dawn back to base for a second time before the 6-minute mark. So XXS finally has had enough. He starts jungling, and this unfortunately ends up the big wisdom fight. He's level 3 here. Satanic is level 5 with a huge amount of last hits and denies. He's gotten 44 last hits, 24 denies at this point in the game. So he's got extra HP, he's got as many items as he can possibly want, and he's life-stealing from every single attack. So obviously a great outplay here when he ends up going to the neutral camp. This was fantastic, but just a showing of how weak the laning stage was for them. Got Dawnbreaker stupidly behind. Take a look at this net worth difference here. He's sitting at 1,800 gold, very similar to the supports. And then up at the top, we've got Lifesteal at 3,900. So they lose a hero's advantage, and Satanic gets super far ahead, which completely changes the game.
Thank you, Purge. We knew it was a tough one for them, but seeing it broken down that way, all of the details as to how it happened and the end result there, at the very first Wisdom Shrine, that's where we see their offlaner, and that's a tough one because they're the ones that are trying to buy time, right? These 4 other heroes are trying to buy time for this Phantom Lancer to get online, to be able to actually participate in the game and feel like a hero.
Yeah, P-Vision has such a great understanding of what needs to be done in the game. In this one, they figured out who needs to be shut down. It's this Nyx Assassin, it's this Dawnbreaker. These are kind of the playmakers because Shadowfiend, he needs a setup PL, he needs a little bit more time, he needs other lanes to go well. And I think at one point somebody said, just play for the late game. You saw Warlock trying to go for Hand of Midas, try to go for Refresher, play for that high ground, but it never really came down to that. You could still feel that in most of these fights, they were lacking something. They were definitely lacking the damage. And carry to carry matchup, I think it's also not that easy, especially if you leave Lifestealer, who's playing so far ahead of him, having that extra bit of an item, maybe even item and a half. Even though Ame was getting good amount of farm, he still can't punch back because of what he's playing into. He's playing into this like Void Spirit, who caught him multiple times as well. But you're playing into Black Hole. It's really not an easy matchup for him by any means. Maybe not until he gets 5th, 6th item, but it never came down to that.
Yeah, I think something else that really didn't help them here is we talked about that snowball, but what kept the snowball going is, of course, the vision that came out, right? To not give Extreme Gaming any part of the map, to make them feel like at any point they were susceptible to a gank, to 2 or 3 people rotating on top of them.
Yeah, to me, the MVP of this game was 9class because, of course, the advantage was created using that laning stage in Satanic, but 9class, he kept the advantage going. You can see that he's putting down these deep wards and setting up kills in position for Void Spirit, and a very smart strategic move. If you're playing to anyone else, you are going to get Dawnbreaker ulted on, so you have to play to kill the Dawnbreaker. So there's this level of understanding that comes from knowing what the enemy team is going to do. And Xnova, what he's doing is also very smart. He has to get the gem to counter the gem that Satanic had, and had the courier with him so that could pick it up. But 9class, realizing that Xnova is making this intelligent support play to come back into the game, he sees him on a ward. And Xnova is so good at the game. Like, these are both such high caliber teams. Xnova doesn't even try to deward the ward that he sees with the gem. He realizes, uh-oh, they're coming. Like, he respects P-Vision enough that he knows they're going to immediately respond, which they did, but it was still too slow. He could not get out quick enough, and he ends up losing the gem. And to me, that's when the game instantly ended. You are not going to win the Vision game against P-Vision without a gem when they have a gem. And if you don't win the Vision game against this team, you are not beating them. That is how they dominate. That's how they've dominated all years, this map control.
Yeah, it also feels bad to see your position 5 essentially have to just continuously sweep the map to make way for your cause, but of course that is the role of a support there, Winter.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really, really tough game, you know. I felt like he did as much as he could on the position 5, but at the end of the day, you're just a Warlock, right? We saw him still having his Black Grima at, what, 20 plus minutes.
Yeah.
He didn't get to use it, or he just didn't find any fights that he needed to use it, you know. So I felt like he did everything he could. It just came down to the fact that they were not really set up for success with the heroes that they have here.
Yeah, and this fight, I wanted to highlight the way that they are team fighting on the side of P-Vision. You can see the pipe pretty much hitting every single hero. So for the next 8 seconds, they're going to be more than fine. Even though Dawnbreaker comes in onto Ame, he still caught him off with that Remnant. I think he did a very good job throughout the whole game, figuring out which PL is going to be real, and at the end, they're just going to be able to clean up. Shadowfiend, he can't really go in because he needs a setup. He needs somebody to stun them to be able to land his raises, somebody to soak up the damage for him, but the overwhelming damage with these 2 Helm of the Dominators, with the pipe, with the drums, they have all the attack speed, and after that, they're going to be taking the Tormentor. I really like how P-Vision is moving across the map, because you always have 9class on one side of the map being very annoying, collecting these Lotuses, and the rest of the team, they're getting the farm, they're getting all the objectives, going for Roshans as well. A couple of times they try to go for Roshan. Jin Q, you know, he was relatively sneaky, try to sneak in, maybe steal the Aegis, get the last hit on Roche. It never really happened, and I think the big issue in this one was this Phantom Lancer. I think Castini talked about it, that you know, they've been losing a lot with this hero, so at least we know that P-Vision is also not going to be picking Phantom Lancer at all.
Yeah, I want to take a very quick moment because we've got something special. We've got to have a little bit of a listen into P-Vision, and that comes during that game.
Try to stay alive, Alan, just.
I'll be fine, all good.
Yeah.
8 seconds, Sunstrike, 5 seconds.
You have stun.
Good job, Alan. Sunstrike 1 second, I maybe kill him.
Yeah. Nice play.
Amazing,
Boys, you can survive.
amazing.
Right now, I have a call.
I like it that it was really clean comms, and I just like how they were able to turn that. That 7 minutes really was the start of everything that went right for P-Vision. This Extreme Gaming lineup, I'm not really sure how you're going to reset to this one, Winter. You're going to have to, but how exactly do you take an approach for a game?
Oh, simple. Rule number 1, don't pick PL, you know. I think they kind of needed a more flexible carry hero. I think the PL maybe could have worked if everything didn't start so bad. But at the same time, your picks need to be determined by some uncertain factors, right? You need to have a backup plan. What if the lanes don't go well, you know? So then you need to have those type of heroes to, you know, come and join the fights. And also the fact that I think the Shadowfiend with PL duo didn't really feel like it was gonna be working very well in the game, even if the laning phase maybe went a little bit better, because they both need a lot of farm to
one of them at
to
least
function.
needs to
You
be
know.
active. Enigma Galaxy.
And you have an off-lane Dawn. You know, the Dawn is gonna be taking so much as well.
I was going to say a lot of that comes from the off-lane problem. You have a Nyx Assassin, which is supposed to set everything up in the game because your mid is not a puck, it's an SF. So if the Nyx is completely behind because of the laning stage, then who's setting things up? You just wait and go to late game. I don't think that's going to work against a team as high caliber as P-Vision. Not at this point in the tournament.
Yeah, they needed something like maybe like some Ursa or some Sven or anything along the lines where it's not as greedy as PL. You know, even the AM might actually be better because AM feel like he can actually do something. You know, but PL just he's just like waiting for his item timing. He needs 4 items.
Yeah.
And before the 4 items, you're not going to see him show up anywhere, you know. Even at the 7-minute Wisdom Shrine there, some of the carriers would be keen to joining that fight, you know, because you know your offlaner is getting shut down so hard. So if you don't help him, there won't be a game, right? But he couldn't help because he was PL.
Yeah, you're like, if I join right now, then I'm kind of just going to keep adding to the problem there. But we've talked about this Void Spirit a lot. And we've talked about 9 class a lot as our players are returning to the stage, returning to the booths, and getting ready for game number 2. In that game 1 draft, there were a lot of bans targeted towards the way of position 4. And whilst we know Nyx is something that you don't want to leave in the pool if you're picking up Dawnbreaker, I do wonder what is left there. What do you take out? What do you pick up for yourself? Where is the wave support's going to go for these 2 teams in the future of this series?
They targeted him heavily. 4 out of 5 bans were towards 9 class, and he still found a new hero, and he played it really well. And this time around, he was buying, let's call them normal items. He was going for the Yule Scepter, he got that Shard, he got that Aghanim Scepter, but he was still doing his own type of a gameplay, being super annoying, being hard to catch, providing vision for his team as well. And I think this also comes down to the matchup, because the last time these 2 teams met, they only managed to get 3 kills on side of Extreme Gaming. In this game, they got only 6 kills, so I want to see Extreme Gaming play a slightly different type of a Dota. I want them to play aggressive, even though when we talk about like these more aggressive teams, Extreme Gaming is definitely not up there. But if we go back to Road to TI playoffs, they had some really strong performances in the laning stage, and I do think that they need to speed it up a bit.
I agree. The more we talk about it, the more I am thinking that the draft needs to change pretty dramatically here. I think that one of the reasons that this game is a perfect example of why we're not seeing Dawnbreaker picked in this tournament at all at this point, because you have to do so much to cover it. Because in the second phase of picks, you have so much to counter.
The thing is, you can't just say it's just the Dawn. The reason they struggle in the game is just because they didn't pick. They picked the Dawn and then they didn't get to give Dawn the game, you know. But at the same time, I feel like it's like too many combination of things, right? You could also say that the way they started the draft, right, with the SF, the way they built the draft. If they already wanted to build the draft in this manner, the SF, and then they wanted the Dawn, then why are they picking the PL right at the end, right? They needed to enable everything.
It felt like a mix of like 2 ideas.
And also, I felt like the feeling of the draft going is, I think Xiao8 is reacting a lot towards what P-Vision is doing. Yeah. I think in certain games, maybe it's fine, but I felt like in this game in particular, when you're already open with the SF, I don't think you should be reacting so much. You have to build the draft to enable the SF or the Dawn, you know. If you react, because they were picking the PR because it was, I think, a reaction towards the Enigma. They wanted a good lane setup for the carry. But when they did that, it kind of ruined the whole synergy of the draft.
Yeah, and the Dawn as well. Like, I think Dawn is an Enigma answer. Like, you're playing against DM, you need to address Enigma at some point in the draft. Like, I think this is just a respect to the player, which should be there, right? But when it's so much respect that you are basically gimping your draft, then I think that's where you have issue.
They need to focus on themselves. I don't think like they should be worried too much about, okay, do we need to change our draft? Do we need to worry about what they have in the next game? Instead, they should be focusing on, okay, what didn't we get right in the first game? We need to fix ourselves first. You know, if we worry about the opponents too much, then we forget who we are.
There is one big problem. 9 class is in the back of their heads, because this guy, you know that he's going to be playing like this, and I don't think many other 4s that we've seen play like this. Maybe they're trying to replicate, but they are not being as annoying. And knowing how Xiao8 historically drafts after they lose game 1, I would expect that they're going to be picking 5 completely different heroes in this one.
Also, I wouldn't say back of their heads, I would say fully in their heads. It feels like he does dominate a lot of what people are thinking about with this team, and then that's what is the perfect setup for them to be able to get this last pick Lifestealer, this last pick Gotcha. What are you looking at, Jenkins?
Pick Weaver. It's a good hero.
I was gonna say, do you feel it?
It's playable. It's active.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Weaver's better than PL.
Skeeter will pick Weaver. You'll see that later.
There's a chance we might be seeing it today. In fact, we might even be seeing it in our next game, which is ready.
P-Vision versus Extreme Gaming. Game 2.
Our game 2, this could be it, sending P-Vision up to the grand finals and Extreme Gaming home. Otherwise, we'll be seeing a game at number 3. A lot relies on this draft. Where are the bands going to be changing up, or is it really going to be predominantly in those picks for themselves?
I'm super glad that it's actually going to be the same side, same pick order. So we're going to see whether, what other changes are going to go here. You know?
But that also means both teams are somewhat getting their comfort.
Actually, second pick this time. They were first pick the last game, but they are on the same side. They're also on the Radiant side. So they have, I think the bands are quite similar.
They're effectively the same.
Yeah.
I also think that P-Vision did a very good job understanding the way that Extreme Gaming is playing with these heavy teamfight from the offlane, these Blink initiators, the Shaker that can be flexed from the mid lane to the offlane if necessary. Mars, XXS had insanely good performances so far on his Mars and removing those heroes immediately, and now P-Vision, they're going to take the Beastmaster for themselves. This is something that DM even played before the Helm of the Dominator was such a popular item. It was always good on Beastmaster, so he's definitely back in the meta, and this is also something that they can flex to the mid lane as well if it's not a good matchup. For example, if they go for the Gyrocopter, they could potentially put this Beastmaster on a mid lane and pick a different offlaner.
Does leave Invoker still in the pool? We have seen that hero get punished in the mid lane. You know, Broodmother is an option, Sniper is an option.
I mean, it's kind of tricky if you don't know your matchup for sure, especially for Sniper. I think Invoker, maybe you have a little bit more leeway, but for Sniper, it's probably hard at this junction. I mean, you have to, I feel like, pick either a support here or a flexible core, which you can swap the roles around, you know. Which I don't know if there's any ideal heroes here because mostly are banned. So they go for the support, which is, I think, their next best option here with the Snapfire. You kind of block it away from P-Vision as well because you have this Beast plus Snapfire combo. And I do feel like Snapfire is one of the best position 5/4 heroes.
Her and Hoodwink, most definitely. It gives you the team fight, it gives you the damage, it gives you the easy 1-2 pairing with any kind of a stunner from the offlane that they could pick. And I think this time around they're going to be swapping things
I mean,
around.
the thing with Snapfire is I do think the hero needs a right partner because in their previous series, was it Silencer? They picked the Snap with a Silencer one game and it actually went really, really bad for XG. And I would like to see more of like a Snap with like at least a Bane.
Yeah, they had like a mid-Earth Shaker that game too, I think, and he was struggling to get the blink. Like something that's...
Yeah, because he lost his lane against a Pop.
Yeah, something at least that's very active on the mid lane to play with Snap always feels very good. Or a support, like Clockwork feels like one of the best heroes.
Yeah. I think Clock and Bane are the top two heroes to pair with Snapfire right now. And we're going to see whether they're going to be able to get their hands on those heroes. Whereas for P-Vision, they've removed the Undying, one of the, I think, better heroes against Beastmaster in the team fight. With the Tombstone, you can kind of control the team fights on your side to do with the Beastmaster. And Snap is also a really good counter towards the Tombstone, but their opponents actually already have it, so probably a good idea to remove the Undying.
Imagine P-Vision whips out a Nyx Assassin just to
show them.
Because it does counter Snap. You cannot ever ult. You will always have the Nyx running in.
Well, you can if you get a BKB.
Yeah, good
or you
luck.
can if you kill the Nyx Assassin first.
Good luck with that, too.
A lot of tough requirements to be met there. The other band they're going to go for, of course, is this Pacquiao. Just trying to set themselves up for the best mid lane potential.
I mean, other than the Nyx, I think the Silencer is probably your second biggest enemy as Snapfire because it'll be hard for you to get your ulti off. I mean, you can buy a Grease, but then you also have to like wait for the ulti to be used before you can use your ulti, so it's very annoying.
Yeah, there's one more extra hero from position 5 that we didn't mention. I think Disruptor could work out really well for them. Like I also like the Snapfire plus Disruptor combination because it does give you enough team fight. It gives you a way of also.
I think the main thing is catch though, because Snapfire
Yeah, BKB
is
versus
not
Duel is better, but we've seen some performances from Disruptor because the games are relatively long still, that you are getting that Aghanim Scepter, you're still having that influence, relatively strong laner as well, and the Glimpse, it's the best catch tool in the game.
With the puck ban, do you think this is just an XM specialty? They don't want to let through into the second phase, or is there some Quap Storm type hero coming here?
Maybe, I think
one.
Quap Storm type of hero is possible.
I mean,
we do know that XM doesn't have a very wide hero pool compared to no one, so maybe they are trying to figure out what is his go-to right now, and they're going to try to set up something that makes it really hard for XM to pick his hero. And this hero is also quite frequently banned in the first phase, and we also mentioned that P-Vision has a very clear game plan in their initial bans. They removed the Mars, Earthshaker, AT, all the team fighting heroes. 2 of them are offlane heroes. I think Centaur is kind of like a viable replacement for that, and it also sets up for Snapfire in the team fight, and it's really good with Snapfire in the lane.
we get to see it again. To be fair, could still be carried. Satanic has played.
They have a 100% win rate on this hero, right?
They do. 4 games it's been played as a position 4, 100% win rate.
9 classes.
There were a couple of games where he was playing that Alchemist that he wasn't really doing that much, like the rest of the team.
Maybe not in fighting, but what he was given the rest of his team was pretty impactful.
Say this man is ruining pubs everywhere, picking definitely.
He's either griefing the game or he's carrying the game. There's no in between.
Yeah.
Well, stats show carrying it apparently with this Alc.
Yeah.
Had some, when I say good showings, of course it doesn't reflect in all the stats when you look at it, but there is still a lot of impact in having that support.
All right, there we go.
I thought maybe they were setting up for this because you pick the Centaur to block the Centaur counter to the Sniper coming out on the other side. And I do think that one of the better answers to Oracle is just Sniper. Like you save somebody and he can peep the Oracle in the back line. He can just change targets to somebody else. Oracle's not really going to jump you. There's no real jump heroes on P-Vision.
I mean, they need like the Corp, I think, right now. And the fact that there's an Oracle in the game as well. I think Oracle is really good against the Snap. You block out some of the magic damage, but the other thing that's really good about having Oracle is the rune control. You know, you get to see the runes, you get to know where the rune is spawning.
Yeah, you want to have that mid laner.
And we know that
them.
in this matchup, there's a lot of emphasis placed between the 3 against 3 when they're fighting for runes. You know?
Surely it's Storm, right? You're talking best rune user in the game and hero that's good against Sniper.
But the thing with Storm is in the lane matchup, it's not as good as the Corp. Corp beats Sniper, or at least pressures the Sniper.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I do just think that the way with static slide facet now, Storm doesn't really lose any mid lane. Like I know this is a pretty commonly held opinion that it's not as bad in the early game.
And have in mind that they just picked Oracle into Centaur as well, and look at the amount of saves that they do have for this Sniper. You have Snapfire with the Cookie, potentially a 4-step. You have Stampede as well, Nightmare. So there's going to be a lot to protect this Sniper, and right now I'm not seeing the jump, and the reason why they picked up Bane is because of these heroes that
that's why we were feeling like maybe a hero like
Would
Corp,
play.
like they need someone to get near the Sniper.
Yeah.
And Corp loves Oracle, he loves the save.
It could be Satanic or it could be
100%.
Night Class also.
And then Winter, it's the Snap plus Bane combo that you mentioned. This is one of the higher win rate support duos that you can run together. Bane loves to run in and set up, and Snap loves to have a hero that's doing that across the map.
Yeah, I mean, at least the Oracle can kind of deal with both of them, you know, the save with the ulti and then the Fate's Edict against the Snapfire. But here, I feel like we're going to see the mid hero, and I don't think it's going to be the Beastmaster here. They're going to decide what they're going to do with the Beast here. So it's going to be the Storm. They feel like the lane's going to be okay with the static slide, and as long as you're controlling runes with the Oracle, then you're going to be able to become an answer eventually against the Sniper.
And I think it's much more okay picking Storm into Bane, who has excellent lockdown for you when you first start with the Oracle pick. Very similar to like Silencer Storm combo you see a lot of teams run. It covers for it. So.
I mean, there's going to be wards around the rivers. I think it's going to be so crucial. So one thing you need to do as the team that's facing the Oracle, you need to follow the Oracle because he's going to tell you where the rune is going to spawn.
Yes, yeah.
And maybe there's going to be some mind games where you try to trick them to go to the wrong side.
Yeah. We've never seen that happen before.
I think it might happen.
I would like to see
So
it.
basically what you do is you don't show the core hero, the Storm hides out of vision, and then the Oracle intentionally shows up vision.
Both the supports. You gotta send both the supports.
And it could be something that decides the early game, you know, because when you get the runes on Storm, you're gonna be able to kill the sniper.
Yeah, pretty much any room.
Is that better than just trying to have the better vision game?
I mean, that's why I'm saying you're gonna need, no matter what, you're gonna need to place wards on both sides, and you have to be creative because teams are getting really, really good at placing the sentries to cover all the areas. So you probably have to place it a little bit further up, but still give you enough vision to see the room.
And something we talked about, that Extreme Gaming will probably just get 5 different heroes because they felt that the game #1 draft didn't really work out for them. And this draft checks a lot of the boxes. You have good scaling, you have good laning stage, you have nice pairing with the Snapfire. 2 supports can actually get out on the map and go for the solo kills as well. Like with the 1 grip with the Snapfire kisses, you could definitely kill a hero.
Okay, so what are the carries made? AM. AM is back. He is also one of the better heroes at finding the sniper. I mean, I do think that right now XG needs something, maybe a CK again. They need someone that can fight at the runes, because the runes is going to be extremely crucial to determining how well XG can move into the mid game with the sniper.
You know, if Ame were willing to whip out a Meepo, this would be an insane Meepo game. I don't know if he will do it.
There's still a Sven. There's still a Sven, right? Sven is still in the game.
Sven is still in the
I think
pool.
Sven, CK are both really, really good options to enable the sniper here.
And a little bit more in Ame's traditional hero pool.
Yeah, 100%. I think the AM is also a block pick.
Yeah. What about some good old Faceless Void as a counter to Anti-Mage? Even though they do have saves, we saw Faceless Voids not caring too much about what they want to get, but it's
this is
another old school classic as well.
It's an AM counter. I mean, they are valuing the carry to carry matchup more than, like, I feel like picking the best hero to enable the sniper here. I mean, I understand why they did it, but I'm not sure. I feel like this is going to give them the easiest path to creating a game tree here.
I think it's a pretty good pick. It's safer than a lot of the ones that we were mentioning. I mean, you get the Beast Auras whenever you use Terrorblade's Q, so that's a pretty big deal. It means DM now has to consider, like, does he go for an Axe build
right?
instead?
Yeah.
Satanic, you're going to get an illusion of him, mana burn himself. A lot of the times, TB can end up solo killing an anti-mage because he mana burns himself so much. But it is a sniper Terrorblade lineup. That is
got some of their best
greedy.
heroes. Jin Q on his Snapfire performances that he did have so far at TI have been amazing. Like, this guy is all over the place, not dying, I would say, in 1 or 2 games
He
as well.
needs to secure the Centaur lane because
and it's a strong lane. Like, also you're playing into anti-mage where he doesn't like the lane. Centaur. Centaur doesn't use much mana. You can also try to go for double edge and try to surprise him with the kill as well, with the 1 stomp into Snapfire. With you're playing into Lil Shredder. Sure, you're playing with Oracle, so there's going to be some of the healing coming out, but this is not an easy lane for Satanic.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the key thing again is going to be this off lane, XinQ and XXS, if they can actually create enough pressure, because the main space maker is going to be the Centaur. If he actually gets a good lane, he'll be able to stabilize the game, even though the Sniper and Terrorblade is so greedy.
I will say, on a individual level, you always have to respect the XM Sniper. He seems to be one of the few players that can make it work, where he's actually making space in the early game. He's actually having the impact that, like, a Spirit-type hero would, just because he's so good at this hero.
Do you know who they're all chanting for, by the way, this crowd?
XM.
XG.
They're actually cheering for I mean, yes, Extreme Gaming, you are right about that. But also their coach, Zhao8, who is now on stage to give us some words about the draft in the game.
Absolutely, my friends. I am here with Zhao8. Mr. Director, Badong, Zhaoba. In a beautiful masterpiece, there is always adversity before the good guys end up winning. These guys have been your villains for this tournament. Tell me, how do you feel about this draft? How did this draft get you guys into the victorious climax here coming up in your store?
报道每个伟大的作品前期的时候，主角都会遇到很多阻碍，但是他们会冲破阻碍，去到游戏的转折点。你觉得这一个 BP 能够将你们带去这个转折点，并且击败你们的宿敌，匹配什么？
我觉得肯定可以，相信 M1。
Of course it will. Believe in AME.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now, they do have a lot of comfort heroes from this team. You guys, of course, must have been prepared. Going into this draft, how confident are you in your draft against heroes like 9 Classes Alchemist that has yet to lose a game?
对面选了很多舒适的英雄，我们知道你肯定也是做过功课的，你对自己的阵容有多大的信心去击败对面的阵容呢？因为9 Class 他的炼金到目前为止还是没有输过的。
我们对他研究也比较深，然后我们这个阵容是我们自己想要的，所以我们打好自己的就行了。
We studied him quite a lot, and this draft is what we want. So as long as we play according to our plan, we'll be fine.
All right, really quick, the crowd has been here for you this entire event, and they want to know from the words of the director, will we be going to a game 3?
我们会不会有第3把？
肯定会。
Let's go! All right, see you there.
Indeed, can't wait to see it. Let's see what we get, ladies and gentlemen. This game 2 between Extreme and P-Vision. It was a very tough game 1 for them, Fog, but it definitely does feel that this game 2, with the draft that they have, they've got some of the classics coming out.
Yeah, much better in terms of early game. Late game also is strong, but yeah, this top lane in particular is the one we have to probably talk about. Jingqiu and XXS playing an actual lane, right? The last one, the game, especially in that lane, was pretty much over in like the first 5 minutes, gotta be honest with you, because just he had no game whatsoever, and they've been the playmakers, they've been the space makers for the team. So let's see how they're gonna be able to do in that much better matchup in terms of that one. And XM, he's playing a classic, right? The only one who can play it, the sniper, as we've seen so far this tournament. Busted it out yesterday for the first time throughout the tournament out of anybody, and it looked good.
It looked so good, yeah.
Yeah, no one, of course, he is going to snap pick that Storm. In terms of the laning phase, I've seen the Storms do better than they used to versus the Sniper, but it's more about the catches in the mid game, right? Being able to close the gap on that Sniper.
Of course, that last pick coming in from Extreme, getting Arme the Terrorblade this time round. Of course, as the panel talked about, you do have that matchup that's going to benefit you with the Illusions coming out against the Anti-Mage. Yep. Obviously, there are other things in the match that will definitely threaten the Terrorblade, but I do feel that that's not really going to be the end of the world for Extreme because they have the XM Sniper as well, right? We've seen this before. Even if Arme is on a carry that does get punished, XM normally able to pull through from the mid lane when he's on the Sniper as that backup carry and sometimes even the primary carry if he gets a hot start in the mid.
And I think also, in particular, with Ame playing Terrorblade, PL we've talked about a lot, how it can be a very difficult hero to work for most players. They've been wanting to. TB, it does have also a pretty low win rate. I think it was 25% or so.
25%, yeah.
But it is a much stronger hero overall in terms of most games. So love to see what he can do there with it, as he also has given a very good lane in particular. The TB versus a Beastmaster, a classic counter pick, and he's got a very strong laner this time. An aggressive one, too, with X-Nova playing the Bane. You know, X-Nova in that last game playing the Warlock. It's a very difficult hero to pressure an off lane. It just kind of guarantees you farm. So let's see if there's going to be a difference this time.
For sure, and it definitely, yeah, on a Bane, we've seen it from so many of these supports. A hero that you can absolutely pop off and just have incredible sort of impact with those sort of saves. And coming in with these grips in the fight, forcing sort of P-Vision to focus their attention on dropping some of the bigger lockdowns onto a support.
Yeah, I think the saves in particular is something that's been insane for me this tournament, where a hero's chain lockdown, but he gets the BKB off because he gets a little sleep interaction. So definitely going to have to keep eyes on that, as there's quite a bit of those big stuns. X-Nova, Night Class is going to chase him out. He's got Blood Grenade and a boar behind him.
Chase this down, yeah. This might just be the first blood. Couple more punches. Oh, here we go. And one more.
He's fast.
He's surely going to have it. Another concoction comes in. That'll do it. First blood for 9 Class.
Pretty big deal. An Alchemist getting first blood on a Bane. Usually not something that you'd expect a Bane at one of the stronger laners, but able to find that opportunity on the sideline. Great play there from 9 Class.
So looking at this top lane as well, so you mentioned obviously this time compared to game 1, you expect a much more sort of solid showing in the laning stage from XXS and Jingqiu. Is that just in terms of them not really dying in this lane, or can they actually find opportunities to pressure and get kills as these two heroes?
Probably not, because the Centaur always has the mana burn, but this is a lane where you're going to farm. Yeah. Centaur does excellent versus AM. You have, what, at least a 10 or 8 base damage advantage early on in the lane. And yeah, you're just going to be able to sustain, because your mana, it doesn't really matter. You play around Retaliate. And Jingqiu, he's playing Snapfire. You know, he's not playing Nyx Assassin, which doesn't really contribute much in a lane whatsoever. And we've seen him do work on this Snapfire throughout this tournament. His best hero so far, it feels.
No, absolutely. I mean, obviously from P-Vision's side of things, they do have excellent save in the forms of the Oracle. But Extreme side, they've got a multitude of different ways to bail one another out, right? Whether it's the Nightmare, later down the line, the potential Aghanims on the Snapfire, and of course just having the Centaur with the Stampede.
Yeah.
There's so many ways that they can ensure that even if P-Vision do get the jump on someone like XM on the Sniper, they can still get him out of there.
Yeah, repositioning tools are massive, right? Like even Cookie, a little Cookie I've seen so many times throughout this tournament, just save a core and maybe change the tides of the fight. So.
It kind of gives just that little bit of distance that might just allow the Sniper to turn and get those extra few hits in before he goes down himself.
And it heals. As we've seen, everyone is buying the Shard, or almost buying the Shard immediately when they can on that Snapfire. So it's 200 healing. That's a lot in the early game.
Yeah, it definitely feels like Extreme have been able to deal themselves a much better hand this time round in game 2.
Yeah, XM. He is starting to poke the tower. It's already beginning again.
Jinkyu trying to mess around with no one, but they're ready to deal with him as the supports both turn up and make sure that Jinkyu is not going to be able to mess with no one at all here in this situation. We'll be able to run away and survive though, so end of the day it's a fair bit of space being made there by Jinkyu, the fact that both supports were forced to come over and push him back. So he'll take that.
It's a very clever move. They see that their lanes are kind of all already self-sustained in terms of the cores. TB can be left alone. Sniper can sort of be left alone too, so they can look to play wherever they want on the supports right now. Catapult will die in the mid lane, so a bit less pressure as we see 9 Class does get that acid spray down for it, but already down to about half HP. We saw XM do the same thing yesterday when he just whittled the tower down.
It's not going to be easy to sort of push the Sniper off the tower with the heroes.
9 Class.
Considering the mid though, get the chase on Xnova. See Xnova get the backup of Jinkyu though, so again, XG able to get away from these attempts.
P-Vision just really trying to protect that jungle for no one so he can get the 6. He's now got it online, so it does have that zip to be able to protect himself top.
Taking out the mana from XXS, but having the damage to kill the Centaur, unlikely at the moment between these two.
No, it would take too long. Satanic doesn't want to miss any extra last hits. Dominator almost finished up on the anti-mage. So his lane is still very good, but XXS is getting a lane. Look at this rotation. Ame, top, making the move. Trying to get a wraparound on Satanic.
Yeah, able to bully him back. See how much he wants to stick up. I mean, do you imagine he will just sort of stick up here, Ame, and try and get some damage onto the tower with this Metamorphosis?
Yeah, he wants to get this tower. I think he wants to take out the whole thing. So let's see if there's going to be a rotation from P-Vision, or if they're going to look to pressure on the flip side from DM.
And these towers are going down early in the mid. I mean, they tried for a deny, but not going to happen. XM gets the last touch on that. So 7 minutes in, XM Sniper taking out the mid tier 1 away from no one.
I really like this move from Ame. He was getting full free farm bottom, but he's like, we're playing versus anti-mage.
Yeah, this is pretty big.
Yeah, they have difficulties defending towers if you play with any AM lineup, so this is a really cool move.
I mean, we saw what last game, P-Vision playing relatively fast and how they were taking these towers out. I mean, this game, XG's just said, hey, we could do that too, and we could do it even faster.
Yeah, they're looking to play that tempo game a lot more this time around. We have a game on our hands, Owen. Last
Absolutely.
one, it was already feeling pretty out of control. This one, XG's got game plans. They send XXS bottom, he stops the push. They get the 2 towers.
Let's see where they go next. We'll see. A little smoke coming out from 9 Class and DM, maybe trying to get a catch with the Primal Roar.
Power rune, they know where it is.
I mean, XM's positioning as well. Make sure that he's not caught on the bottom side.
I mean, P-Vision, they're always going to know where the rune is. They've got that
still
oracle.
find him. XM playing cautious. He's going to step up now, though. TPs are coming in. DM is going to go with the Roar, but the backup has arrived. No one coming in with all the mana. The burst, it's enough to bring XM down. They get the kill.
That did a lot more than expected, I believe.
And no one trying to push his limits as well. He's still got enough mana to play on. They will lose 9 Class in return, but P-Vision getting what they came for, able to take out XM underneath his own tower.
He still has the regen running. Jinkyu might get caught.
Continue to dive. Xnova is there at the side. A Nightmare to slow this down. No one won't quite go for the tier 2 dive for now. Just keeps both supports low. Is able to push them back.
A lot of pressure from that regen rune. The good old prognosticate. They can always pretty much guarantee that no one's going to get that rune unless XG just shows up with the numbers on that setup.
A fantastic hero to have that sort of rune control on as the Storm.
One of the best, in fact. Gets a galvanized stack, of course, there as we saw, bringing down XM. And Satanic is going to get to hit these creeps. I feel like this is going to be a pretty slow one, Owen. We are very likely to get to these 40+ stages with an AM versus Terrorblade lineup.
And I feel that's going to be a bit risky for P-Vision, if anything, because I feel like XG, when they have like the XM Sniper, the Arme Terrorblade, this lineup is so prepared to play the later team fights.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is definitely a very, very exciting game that we have kicking in here in terms of early and even potential late game. I think that XG is going to want to set the tempo, though, with their early moves around these two supports and around XM Sniper.
So if they're going to be ready to go up to the high ground, it's a little bit spooky what's to steal the tier 1 here, so they'll just focus the objective first.
That's a big deal. They're taking out all the towers.
Super early. Yeah. 10 minutes in, all 3 tier 1s are going to be taken here by XG.
So many games I've seen that P-Vision is able to just come out of lanes, get these dominators, and just control the lanes, pretty much positioning for the next 10+ minutes. This is not going to be one of those games, as we're seeing XG with very good responses so far. Another power rune, of course, for no one. He's got the haste rune. Xnova trying to find the level 6. Trying to find the level 5. He's getting gone on.
Gonna go for the dive. TP coming in. Not enough burst to kill Xnova off, and now no one's got to back away. Has got the haste, but can't dance around too close to the tower anymore.
Top, Satanic, working on Ame.
All right. See if they can get him out of this one. Stampede comes into play. That's going to be enough to allow Ame to step to the side and get off an easy Sunder. Says thanks for the HP there, no one, as he's just straight back up to full.
No one tried to dodge it there with the ball lightning, but Ame very well prepared, had that Lotus. He actually has both of the Lotuses. They've given it to the Terrorblade to make sure that he doesn't get mana burned.
Satanic still sticking around. How's the backup of Ducalis? Ducalis, of course, yet to hit the level 6 though. Ame with Xnova by his side. Ready to start pulling Satanic away here with the Metamorphosis.
They're both just playing versus each other with the Dominator. Ame's trying to kill it, but Satanic with the micro gets it away. Bottom, DM starting to get some pressure here. XXS trying to hold it.
I should be able to do a pretty good job.
Ooh, takes the board.
Tower. They've got the kisses coming in, slowing DM down, allowing him to close in to get into the double edge of the stomp, but Ducalis is in with the save. DM, it's going to be fine for now.
Great positioning. Good move there from Ducalis. Clever play from XXS, taking the board with the Dominator, trying to use that slow versus DM, but that is going to be kisses used and not netting a kill. This Oracle pick, we saw it the other day too, or yesterday, how strong it could be versus Snapfire. And potentially always just saving with that Fate's Edict alone.
It's definitely going to be a bit of a concern, though, from P-Vision, the fact that XM is getting so much space. You know, we've seen so many of these games where he's at the top and he doesn't let it slip away from him in the mid. Nice little bit of a freebie there for the two of them, Xnova and XM, taking out 9 class.
The fact that Ame is getting slowed down a little bit here, but yeah, XM,
he's getting so much.
Look how aggressive he's posturing as well. He's got the 2 supports behind him. As long as he knows where the storm is, in most situations, he can survive. And he's not that squishy, right? That's what we've seen from XM time and time again. He builds a bit tanky because he's got this Dragon Lance, he's got all these small stat items.
Yeah, it's not easy to go on him,
no.
Especially when he has the supports in position as he has done. I mean, you know, one of the reasons why XG are so good with the XM Sniper is just because how well as a team, they know how to play around him.
Yeah, it does feel like they always do have these like double saving supports in particular to protect some of these riskier picks. Level 6 has been hit, so Xnova does have that finished on the Bane. The grip is at the ready, but Oracle as well. Ducalis has the counter with the False Promise. And I should have pointed this out way sooner, so sorry about that. But 9 class, an interesting facet choice. I think most of the times we've seen the seed money be the choice. He sometimes passes off a bottle level 1. He's gone for Mixologist, so it's going to be interesting what he's going to be looking to do, either with the Berserk Potion or what it could be. It's 2-2, very slow paced.
Yeah, XG will continue to, of course, keep a presence on this bottom lane. They don't want to allow DM to find any sort of opportunity to take early tier 1s away from them.
This is his home. The Crimson Guard is soon finished up. It's going to block a lot of the early damage. And P-Vision definitely does have perhaps some damage issues early on, but they are looking to just farm. Storm and AM. As we said, this game very potential to go to quite late stages.
And they're all pretty much hitting their timings.
They are.
You know, from the lowest net worth core to the top, it's less than 1k gold between them. They'll get the jump with a cookie. The XM is here ready to offer up the damage. They get the Hoostone connection on towards no one. A heavy bit of burst damage, but plenty of mana still at the ready to get out. I'm just going to make the quick move up towards the top. I mean, Satanic and Ducalis are looking to maybe try and make something happen against Ame.
tough to go for it. Satanic has to be careful.
So much damage here from the Metamorphosized Illusions.
And Ame's just always holding a healing Lotus, so he has the chance to be able to pop that Lotus and Sunder if anything does go wrong.
And he's got backup.
He does.
We can see the movements from the rest of Extreme, meaning that they have this presence of Jin Q and X-Nova, very close by. And a Stampede at the ready to press.
They're smoked up again. As you said, they have the Fiend's Grip ready, they have the Kisses. Ults are ready to go if they catch a
DM
target.
doesn't expect this mid maybe with the amount of focus that was being put on the top lane. Might feel a little too safe here. Kisses coming in. They've got the grip at the ready as well. No one wills it forward, be able to stop the grip and make sure the DM is able to walk away.
Too tanky. He's got the helm finished up already, so a 2,000 HP Beastmaster, even with Kisses. Not able to get that finish up as no one comes in, gets a kill. Another Galvanized stack. Even though it's a very slow-paced game, he is up to 5.
Ends up being, just a little bit too ambitious of a play there from XG.
Really wanting to try to make some type of move to slow down the farm of this Beastmaster, but immediate answer. And that's 2 ultis used. Does P-Vision want to take advantage of that, or are they just going to sit back and farm? It feels like it's just going to be a sit back and farm.
I think as long as Satanic is sort of getting space, they'll be happy. And still on track to hit a very respectable timing here on the Battle Fury.
Bottom, P-Vision wanting to maybe slowly whittle down this tower, but I immediately saw XG. They're pinging it, so they do want to defend this, but it is low.
Let's have a look. I mean, XXS doesn't have a TP at the moment, so he's just going to have to walk down here. Won't be able to get her in time, so finally DM is able to claim that bottom tier 1.
And immediately I see the line, the circle drawn, right, from Ducalis. He's like, we now have access to this bottom side of the map to potentially farm more pressure.
See what they can do down here. 2 of them still hanging around, but as we've seen, it takes a lot to kill DM.
It does.
Even if they get that opening stun onto it.
I mean, the 2 offlaners are going the exact same build, Owen. Well, besides not upgrading the Dominator to the Overlord on the Centaur, but going for that Crimson Guard afterwards, so gonna mitigate a ton of damage in this early game.
X-Nova.
Vision
ready to
setting
join
up.
the rest of the boys down here.
I mean, Ame's been up here for a long time.
They really want to try and get him. See if they can. Concoction at the ready. It's good lockdown. Satanic ready to bring in the damage. Can he get anything off? He can! The Thunder's there! Just in time. Those final moments, able to get it out as the lockdown comes to an end.
Gets the heal. He's been carrying it the whole time, that healing Lotus. The first time he gets the Sunder off because of it, the second time also.
They're so close. They just needed that little bit more. I mean, was there any way they could have better kind of layered the stuns? I don't think so, right? They did it as best they could, but it wasn't enough to stop him from getting the save off.
Oh, 30 HP, he gets it. Ame doing the math.
I mean, he's loving life on this top corner of the map. He's been at pretty much for the last
10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Literally 10 minutes. Satanic.
Now stepping up.
At the sleep.
Got Ducalis behind him.
Very difficult to punish this anti-mage. Does feel like both teams pretty content though.
It's a
both are farming. They're both very happy.
Such a close start this time around. I think this is what you sort of wanted to see here between these two teams, rather than a very one-sided affair.
Maybe more kills in particular for us, but that's okay.
I'm sure they'll come. You know, the later stages of this game are going to be insane. I can already feel it. Let's start just the build-up here for now between XG and P-Vision.
It is pretty crazy how we don't have the craziest amount of team fight in particular. Some games, right, like that last one, we have Solar Guardian, Black Hole, etc. This one, pretty limited team fight spells in particular. It's a lot of single target that's going to be coming out in this game.
I like sort of the balance though of like the cores in terms of like the priority and importance of them, right? Both have this kind of traditional hard carry, the Terrorblade, the Anti-Mage, but at the same time, both mid, Sniper, and of course the Storm Spirit, no one. These two mids can absolutely scale and carry themselves on their own back, so.
It does feel like a very balanced situation that is coming in here.
See, they'll back off for now, P-Vision.
9 class, how's he doing? He's got the Blink finished up. Shard almost done as well. Then we'll probably see those Aghanims if he wants to go that route. There's also potential for Lotus Orb. It's a fantastic Lotus game, as we've seen in multiple different situations. Versus either the Bane, versus the TB Sunder. Definitely have a huge effect there. Tormentor contest is going to be an interesting one, because as we've seen in almost every single game, most teams immediately at that 20-minute mark, they start to prepare for it. So let's see if we are going to have that contest and who's going to be more prepared for it. As you said, Ame's been up here for 12 minutes now and has been yet to be pushed out.
And we're going to see both him and Satanic be so close on farm in this game. And we can see already, just a few hundred gold between the two of them, the Terrorblade and the Anti-Mage.
This will be an interesting pickup if Ame does commit for it. If he does go down the route of this Butterfly,
I like it.
He'll be really strong in terms of the group up when his team goes for it. How do they focus fire him?
And it's just so annoying for these two heroes, right? Anti-Mage does not want to be buying an MKB, let alone at all really normally, and definitely not anytime soon. And the same for the Storm Run. He don't want to be buying any sort of True Strike on the Storm, so that evasion is going to do massive things.
He goes Witchblade at least, right? So at least you do have a bit of that True Strike.
Sure.
Yeah, some of it, but... Power Rune?
There's the jump. XXS gets the opening hoof stomp. Culture thrown down onto him. They'll lay down the kisses. Try to push back P-Vision.
They do not want to go on the tanky hero. XXS trying to chase. He's got another blink up.
I mean, Arme's looking to see if he can kind of get the wraparound on this one. Jump forward. Whoop. The concoction at the ready. 9 class able to put a stop to any hoof stomp opportunities that XXS was trying to find. But the pressure there onto the tier 2. XM and Arme ready to push on.
They're looking at the objectives.
Yeah, and again, just sort of matching what we saw in terms of timings from P-Vision in that game 1. XG playing so much faster this time round, and it's giving them such a higher chance of having success in this game.
Absolutely. I mean, Ame getting some good timings here, but they're going to sack the Torment.
They'll take the trade, yeah, P-Vision. And XXS is making his way over, but they won't be able to get her in time to stop this. So. Sharp for Ducalis.
Very heads-up play there from P-Vision.
See if they still manage to try and find a fight out of this XG. They're making their way over under the cover of smoke.
They might have to sacrifice 9 class.
X-Nova, watch it from the high ground. Ducalis, he's going to be focused first.
They got
shot down. See what they can look for more. But the counter spell's there. He gets the blink up for the high ground. The assassinate's in. Jump ball with the cookie. The concoction will hold back Q. But Satanic will fall. As the lockdown enough for XM to take him out. And now maybe be able to turn for more as the chase continues over towards 9 class. That blink up though.
Getting
Should
cut
be
off.
fine there. They're going to try and continue to chase. X-Nova's able to get the range for the sleep. So the chase will be a success as 9 class killed off as well.
What a play. Great wraparound, understanding we're not going to make it in time for Tormentor, but we can absolutely take the fight. I think the Shrapnel actually woke up the AM, allowed him to get the counterspell off with Safine's grip, but either way, they have the chain stun afterwards to lock him down and bring him down. XG very prepared this game. Butterfly is getting closer and closer for Ame.
So early on this Terrorblade.
How do you fight versus a Butterfly Terrorblade if they're set up as a unit in particular, right? Catching him alone, absolutely. You can perhaps do that, but when he's grouped with a Butterfly, it's going to be very problematic.
It's going to be a super tough kill.
Blocks so much of their damage, right? It's a lot of physical from P-Vision this time around. It's going to be very interesting to see what they want to do here. As a lot of gold saved up. X-Nova wondering what build he wants to go for. Is it going to be something like a Blink on the Bane, perhaps, that he wants to go for? We'll have to see what option, as he's quite rich also.
And Ame knowing that he could just continue to live his life up in this top corner. Nobody's able to do anything about him.
It is pretty wild that he's been there for 14+ minutes without being able to get pushed out.
And P-Vision just not being given any sort of opportunity to really approach any further tier 1s. You know, the tier 1 in the mid lane are also just barely taking any sort of damage from any sort of pressure. P-Vision, they can't really push on outside of DM. They're going to try and bring the action in around the mid now as they get the jump in onto Xingqiu. We'll find him.
Maybe can get some decent damage onto this tower here too with the Reign of Destiny, as we see no one just getting healed up.
X-Nova and XXS ready to turn up though for the defense.
Okay, the choice is going to be a Glimmer for X-Nova. He's going to be bringing it out soon. XXS, every time a tower push comes out, the Centaur gets parked in front of it. P-Vision wanting to look to strike elsewhere.
It's going to be difficult to find XM Sniper though. Typically a sort of step ahead of any sort of sweep of the map that enemies try for against him. It's very hard to find.
And very defensive build that he's gone for too. As we said, he likes to build a bit tankier on his sniper. Linken's is going to be the next choice to prevent either a roar or any of these single target abilities as we see P-Vision have.
They still, of course, have a lot of gap closure.
They do.
2 cores,
they absolutely
both having ways to jump straight on top of the sniper in these team fights.
I mean, this game is, you know, it's low kill count, but it's as tense as ever. Both are getting exactly what they want out of the map here. That butterfly, it's finished. Let's see what XG wants to do and how they want to force. Are they going to perhaps wait for Roche to shift toward the top side before they look for a potential go on it? Because they can bring that Roche down very quick. 9class is looking for a potential setup here.
He's going to try. Satanic's in as well, but XXS with the stop. Bottom was 9class. They've got the Stampede as well. So 9class, he's got to run. The Metamorphosis comes out as 9class trying to set something up there with Satanic Life. Even if XXS wasn't there, I don't know, would these two have been able to deal with Ame at this point? This Terrorblade's massive.
Unlikely versus that butterfly. The
Yeah.
build is working for XG right now, and XXS, he is everywhere. It feels like you look away for a second, and then boom, the Centaur is just there to protect. And there's that Lotus Orb finished up for him.
I mean, they might as well see what happens when they push the high ground. They've hit the timing here with this butterfly pickup.
They've got a Crimson to slow things down.
Now what? Able to clear out the wave. We'll slow down the push for now.
These are heads-up moves. Nullifier for DM. Very early pickup that he's got this finished. Can't get rid of these Glimmers in particular, but as you said, Lotus, Linken's, they've got ways to protect each other. And Roche, it is shifting now. It is on that top side.
Just going for the straight-up damage as well, Ame. He's got the Chrysalis on the way out, going for that full Daedalus. I mean, if he gets that, these fights are going to be so difficult for Satanic, right? Even though he's very close in farm, it does feel like if he makes a blink in, and somehow, you know, some way they're able to keep the Terrorblade protected, and you're seeing the damage from the two of them. They're going to try and go on XXS. They've got the roar, but the kisses are coming in, and XXS, he's so tanky. They barely get him down to half HP. The grip's there, controlling Satanic. See if he can get up towards the end of it. No, who's done the cookie? But there's the save. Ducalis comes in, bails Satanic out. But P-Vision, they've got to run, because Ame's turned up to the fight. Ducalis cannot escape. P-Vision, they do manage to eventually bring XXS down, but it takes so much.
Look how much damage he absorbed. You can just look at the fight recap. That's pretty much all Centaur taking that damage from the entirety of P-Vision. That's exactly what you want from your Centaur.
And now they could just move into the Roche XG. They didn't get the core kills, but they got enough out of P-Vision in terms of ultimates and attempts to fight that they can walk into the pit very freely and secure themselves this Aegis.
I mean, Ame able to just walk in and join, do Roche, even without meta. So they're going to have meta to potentially push toward high ground, Owen. P-Vision, what's the approach going to be?
It's going to be tough. I mean, we're seeing already that it's just so difficult for Satanic to blink in and get involved in the fights. Because if Ame and XM are not controlled, this anti-mage will get destroyed.
Absolutely. They have way too much damage for him. And it's difficult for them to reach these backlines, even if they do have these, you know, these jumpers, as we've been saying, to get to it. XXS has just been the body that they need. Satanic is going to be going for his butterfly of his own, so he is going to look to match that aggression that's coming from Ame, but Ame does have that advantage of net worth at the moment.
And just overall damage output when he has the Metamorphosis ready.
Oh yeah.
CP Vision, we'll see what the call is going to be here for the next 4 minutes.
Probably just try to stall things out so they can't reach the base, right? Get your own push, cut the waves as much as possible. That Daedalus soon on the horizon.
Yeah, we'll easily be able to have it picked up and still have a kind of 2+ minutes to play for.
Satanic.
Trying to go on XXS, but
He'll burn all the mana. That is very annoying. But he does have the stick. He does always have Lotuses to be able to pump himself back up.
Sweeping over towards Ame. But again, it feels like, how do you even go on this Terrorblade right now? You have to have all 5, right?
You do. And he has to be out of position. If he's with the team, it feels like it's very difficult to kill him.
I mean, stepping pretty far forward, but of course has this Aegis. He feels that relaxed right now.
He's pretty far up.
They're going to try and start something. See what they can do. Easy man to dodge there.
Even as the Linken's just in case. XM is right behind him.
That's the full Daedalus. So 28 minutes in, Butterfly Daedalus, level 20 Terrorblade. That sounds pretty terrifying.
It does. Ame is posturing so aggressively this game. Grouped up, looking for the potential push. We see DM, he is doing the cutting. So he is sending the Ancient Ice Shaman on that far left side with his Boris as well to just slow things down.
As the completed Miona for XM, everything coming together. They do need to say, have the butterfly done on Satanic, but it's still so difficult for him to fight back against these two.
I feel like they're going to push. They're going to look for Arax here with this Aegis.
See what P-Vision can do. Have they got what it takes at the moment to be able to defend? against this level of push.
It's just so much physical damage.
It really is. Yeah, he spends a few seconds on the front and he gets about half his HP taken away in an instant.
Even with the butterfly, they're going right through it. Crimson Guard again, but the towers are getting whittled down. No one will cut the wave, so that is the last creep wave. So they're gonna have to back up and reset.
Yeah, very close to having the Shiva's Guard done as well, no one, so.
They're looking to just continue, right? They need more time to be able to deal with this Terrabladed Sniper. But is time really gonna benefit them that much with the way that XG's been able to play so far? DM.
Yeah, they'll be able to deal with this hit. Bringing XM over as well.
Kill it.
Oh, yep. XM. He'll have it.
Yes. Smoke up, P-Vision. They're getting outside.
They're going to get the jump on Arme. Arme. He's going to be gone the once.
Can they do it again? They've got a roar.
Backup's on the way for Arme. They can get the opening stampedes there. Lincoln's ready to keep it protected. He's able to walk it off.
Far too difficult for them to get the setup. XM just covering him every time with the Lincolns. Too hard for DM to get the roar, even with the nullifier to break. Here comes the push again. 30 seconds on meta. No Aegis.
And we'll see if XG still feels strong without it.
Feels like they do. Base ward taken out. Ducalis did find it. Here comes that push. Tower's low.
And they've got it. Tier 3 to 4. So they want to keep going here, XG. XM. Push in the start. Answers there for Satanic. Shiva's Guard now done on no one.
Satanic is having to stay here in the base, though, which means he's not getting that extra farm. He's having to be here for the defense.
There's the smoke. They're going to try and get the surprise jump. See if they can get the wraparound, potentially. So they're coming in from the side here. Good angle from P-Vision. XG prepared for this one. No one ready to try and scout out the backlines. He's in. Makes the jump, but now he jumps out. Tries to bait out spells and items here for XG. But XXS, he's in with the jump. He gets the 3-man hoop stop. A beautiful follow-up there from XXS allows them to take down 9 class immediately. As XG are ready to step up to the barracks.
They're ready for every move, Owen. Immediately backing themselves up, gathering as a unit, so P-Vision can't find a target.
Still trying to bait out some of these stuns and spells, but Ducalis gets shot down by XM. The barracks are gone.
The strategy is working, Owen. XG, they're looking to get a 2-racks advantage.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. They're sticking around for a second set at the least. I mean, no one again trying to turn their attention away from the objectives, but these racks, they fall so fast here to the damage of Arme and XM.
Ayame is playing his heart out this game. Beautiful build, beautiful rotation, surviving the ganks. An 8K lead with massive structural damage.
P-Vision, what's the plan going to be? Satanic, he's even though he's kind of close on the net worth, you're really just feeling how difficult of a matchup it is for him to play into as this anti-mage. Dealing with both a sniper and a Terrorblade that are ahead of you in farm, it seems almost impossible for the AM.
It really feels like they just don't have the damage to go through what XG has by any means. XXS with this build of this Crimson, it blocks everything that P-Vision wants to do to walk into him. Aghanims is done, so that's the first one here for 9 class. It's gonna give it a no one, I imagine.
Yep,
yeah,
no one's got it ready to go.
Yep.
So if they had that setup, maybe some sort of multi-man vortex into like a concoction.
They're gonna need a big multi-hero stun in order to have a chance in that next push, because it's gonna come very soon. The auras are all there. Aghanim's now also finished up for XXS, so another save.
So many saves. Yep. So many ways to keep XM or Arme safe if they get jumped.
And this might be one of the better card games too. You have 2 of the best heroes, it feels like, to utilize in their range. They can actually just wallop heroes from a distance.
And XM's pretty much got his Monkey King bar done.
Oh boy, yeah, this feels harder and harder for Satanic.
He's got
the Basher, but look at his HP pool too, right? Satanic is not going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with these heroes.
XG. They could definitely just sort of deal with the lanes, wait out for the next Roshan. Should be coming up pretty shortly.
Next items, like you said, MKB is done for XM, and I believe a Lincoln's about to be done for Amame. How do you get through these?
P-Vision Definitely do what they can to try and set the map up themselves so they can have a say on the Roshan, at least give themselves an opportunity maybe to see if no one can get a steal off. It's the Storm Spirit.
No one.
I just can't get anywhere close.
It is really just such insane damage that XG does have. And immediately they're not splitting up either is the thing. Immediately they're all together as 5. The lanes are in a good position for them as well with the TB sending the illusions. So they're ready for the fight.
Lincoln's on Arme. Ready with the smoke, XG. They know that P-Vision's going to be out on the map a little bit.
Roche, how long it's going to be? It's a quick spawn.
I mean, they're showing her on the top lane.
XXS,
he's having a from the dust, they got the over the sun, please, DM is gone! No one has to zip away! Carlos will turn up here ready to help out, but they have to continue to back off. Tier 2 is not a safe space right now.
DM spent his gold. He bought the Vlad, so he's dead for 60 seconds.
Pushing forward at the timing with the wisdom coming up, so another one of those to be taken by Extreme.
And we see XG, if they catch a hero, the hero is dead. On P-Vision, if they catch a hero, the hero does not really take much damage whatsoever. It doesn't matter who it is.
They're ready to try and tickle at the base again. They don't even need the Aegis, they put that strong. Satanic is looking for an angle at the back lines, but XXS finds them, he's in with the jump on and the two of them! Perfectly ready, Satanic will make the jump over there for the card! XXS with the save, Satanic shot down by XM, it is over! GG is called! Extreme, they may have had a rough game one, but this
I
game
got that
two,
card, no
they're
save.
looking better than ever! They push us to a game 3 here in the lower bracket!
That was a very strategical approach to this game. Honestly, this move from Ame dictating the pace of the game pretty early. 7 minutes, rotating top, taking the tower, stayed there for what? It felt like what? 14 minutes that he's farming in that top lane. XXS defending every single tower. P-Vision, it felt like they were like, okay, yes, we're getting what we want out of the map, but XG was just getting so much more, pressuring, controlling, containing, and just honestly crushing this game completely.
Yeah, just an excellent adaptation coming into this game 2 after what happened in game 1. Right?
Yeah.
Taking all 3 tier 1s, 10 minutes in, securing this top part of the map where Ame just lived his best life for like nearly 15 minutes plus as a Terrorblade.
And I love that he built this aggressive, right? He doesn't go for this
butterfly
BKB, Scotty, nothing. He just goes for the butterfly, looks to close the game out as fast as possible.
Well, what a game. What a performance there from Extreme. Cannot wait to see what happens as we are indeed, ladies and gentlemen, getting a game 3 coming up as the series now stands 1-1 between Extreme and P-Vision.
The fact that we're getting a game 3 demonstrates just how close this top 3 is. At any point, we could be seeing P-Vision in that grand finals. But for right now, Extreme Gaming, they're making that comeback. They're saying, we want this, we're hungry for it. And comfort picks just for everyone. Amazing and significantly better laning phase as well, I'd say, for this game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, is I love that no matter who makes it into the grand finals, you know that it is so close. All 3 of these teams can beat each other. This was not close. Like, in a way, I feel like
It was close in terms of net worth, but it wasn't really close in terms of the pacing of the game.
the momentum. Since the laning stage, Extreme, they had it figured out. They picked late game heroes like Sniper, Terrorblade, but they didn't play for the late game. They were very active in the early game.
I mean, they totally abused the fact that the anti-mage needed a long time, or he could not enter the fight at all because of this Terrorblade. But like the reflection just made it so that he has to be so careful, and every time he comes to a fight, he couldn't really do anything.
I think it was pretty similar to what happened in game number 1, like this carry-to-carry matchup where you are staying an item ahead, maybe even an item and a half in this one. It is very difficult for Satanic to play the game. He doesn't have a clear target that he can jump because of all the save with the Nightmare that's going to ruin him. Then you have Snapfire as well, you have Stampede, you have all these defensive items. You have Crimson Guard at the same time. Very difficult fights in terms of how they want to play it out.
It was like Sniper just drive by there.
From the distance, and you also do have this ability to stay ahead in terms of itemization. You see that he's going for the butterfly, and then you have 2 cores that kind of like to build it to butterfly. At one point, Sniper, he did have Zero to shift, he's building it to Mjolnir naturally, plus he builds
this one, look at this one, he just like, look at Sniper, just look at Sniper, it's like he's shooting in the cut, man.
He also kind of enabled
shooting
XXS, for example, to get a decent game, and he was able to do a lot in the fight. We saw a lot of multi-hero storms. The card eventually, right, he wasn't enabled in the
He was
first
just
game, and
giving
this game I
drive-by.
felt like it was night and day.
Yeah, he was just there to provide his team with anything they needed. That card at the end was always such a pleasure to see picked up in a game, but just so much fun. The flip side, though, for PU Vision, 9 class not really having that impact on an ALC we've seen previously. We're like, yes, it was winning, but was he winning the game with it? And I think this is kind of answered our question about it now.
Yeah, this was very rough for P-Vision. Perhaps it's the combination of the Anti-Mage and the Alchemist that is the main issue, but really Extreme, they understood the assignment. They saw that there was this greedy duo coming out of P-Vision,
Are you
and
watching
they
from
understood that
Twitch
even though they
because-
have Sniper
Yes.
and Terrorblade, they needed to push. They needed
Can
to
you
be
see
active.
that
They needed to
live
win the lanes,
channel on the left
and
side?
they did.
Open. Why?
Yeah, they really did.
Do you
Extreme
see
Gaming,
Nyx?
It's hard to pick a standout player from
Nyx?
that, right? You look at the
Nyx,
end,
yeah.
everyone had a phenomenal
Who-
performance.
who's this
Arme
guy
on the
like
Terrorblade
Nyx?
just Terrorblade at night and day
Where
compared to
Nyx?
game 1.
Yeah, he was
Mainly
so
the cores.
aggressive. Like the way he moved across the map, these like understanding that anti-mage he can't really do
He's-
much.
he's
gonna
a
push his
Russian
man
guy,
burn, he wants to
Nyx.
pressure him out, he wants to
Apparently,
top lane. You have
his
Centaur
stream
with
was
the
at
Dominator creep
192
as well, so
kilo.
that's gonna
He
be
had
extra bit of
more
advantage.
viewers than
This is something that
the
anti-mage
official
historically
channel.
didn't like to
Yeah.
play into, getting himself kicked out of
More
the lane,
viewers
and then
than
he
Kaisen
goes to the
Adler.
jungle. This is a hero that
Biggest
doesn't
stream
have
on
any
Twitch,
good
damn.
ways of farming. Now with the Helm of the Dominator, it does help him a little bit, but it's still not good enough because they are having so much. The map is getting much smaller, and this time around they didn't have the playmaker. Sure, you have this position for Alchemist, who's trying to get the Aghanim Scepter play in the outer ring, trying to get the extra bit of a farm. It came in very late. That Aghanim Scepter that he did give to Storm Spirit, you couldn't really feel the influence of it.
Yeah, it was at the timing where they
Well, the
had
Jabba
a
was so
Centaur
good, man, I
card
swear.
to save whoever gets caught. And this is why I think that the MVP could have gone to any of Extreme's cores, because Ame pressured the early game, XXX
Jenkins
hit
is
the
finally wearing a
multi-hero
suit
stomps.
now.
We have to mention
Oh,
XM
change his
Sniper.
Barbie suit.
I feel like this has been a tournament of elephants in the room, and this is
Yesterday
the one for me
he
when it comes
was
to this
Freddie
team.
Mercury.
They do not lose with Cardell
Was
Sharpeye.
Luigi
They
also
are the
there?
best sniper team on the planet, and
Huh?
I expect to
Here's
see a
Luigi
ban in
also?
the next game.
Yeah, I don't think you can
Yeah.
let that one through at all. You can't rest on your laurels thinking that you know how to deal with a sniper when it's specifically an XM
Is this
sniper
the
here. We're saying
female
the
we're
cores
talking
are
about?
up
New
for
Yeah.
grabs. Anyone could have been that standout
analyst?
player,
Yeah.
but
I know,
something
right?
that I think was
She's
also
been
really
there
key in
for
changing
the
how
past
that
2 years.
offlane
Like.
played
Yeah, but
was
then
Jingqiu, right? He
she's-
got on a
she's
hero
look
that was
pretty- she looks pretty
significantly more
lit.
impactful. Playing that snap,
Yeah, she
just
looks
having more
pretty, not gonna
stability,
lie.
that's
That's
where
the
I think
main
we saw
thing
the link
only.
with
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
but
you can
no,
actually
okay.
do stuff.
Where do you
Yeah.
think
You
she's
can
from?
actually be the
You
one
can-
who's
can you
putting
She's
the
say-
pressure, you can
Latino.
make the
I
moves
think
across
she's
the map
Latino.
compared to
She's not
XXS,
Australian.
who was,
Maybe
so
Australia?
underleveled in the
Oh,
previous
shit.
one. I think there's a comparison between
You
what
don't-
he was
she
playing
doesn't
as
look
a
like
game number
Australian,
one
right?
and what 9 class was playing
Yeah.
in game number
I would say that the blonde is Australian. She looks more Australian
Wait, what
than
happened to
her.
my- what happened to my?
2, where he
my-
wasn't really
my
unable
teammates
to do
kind
much
of-
on the map. Like you feel like your position 4 with the setup, with the draft that you have, like it feels like you need to do much, but you can't because of the situation you're in, because of the hero that you're playing. And this time around, you can.
Hey,
be
have you
paired up
seen
with
the
Centaur,
gallery
you can
case
be paired
jumping up
with-
in-
yeah, with just a
it's
shrapnel,
getting pumped up
with
lah
the
now.
Snapfire Kisses could land you a kill.
I like that they chose to basically say, okay, we lost
I
the
think
offlane
Gallery
really
Case would
badly
be
in
a
the
good
previous
investment.
game. Well, let's just dodge it entirely. We will run the Centaur on the offlane. We will cut creeps. We will bring it to camps, get Giga farmed. He gets an early Dominator. And this is where we see the rotation from Ame. On level 6 on Terrorblade, he was farming just fine in his lane, by the way. Look at his denies, 18 denies. But he realized that he's got to be the one to push towers. He's got to be the one to pressure. If they combine the Centaur power spike here with Ame's Metamorphosis, they can easily take the tower and close down the map on a team that absolutely needs the map to farm.
I mean, it's also the fact that
price
the
dropped again
Beastmaster
today.
just got level
Then
6,
for-
so he realizes if
now
he
it's
stays in the
1300.
lane, one row and either the Storm or +1,
What, the
he could
Solitude?
die, you know.
Yeah.
So that move is itself solves
Damn.
another problem. So he
Last time it was
literally
17.
gave their opponents nowhere to
Like
maneuver around
Factory
the map.
New is
Yeah,
now
and it ties into what you
5K.
guys were saying.
Happened
Kick that anti-mage out of that top lane as early as you can. Force him to be a little bit uncomfortable. And then we see that TB wanted to stay up there. Arme wanted to stay there. They try and make a move onto him, but it was not
Yeah,
successful.
and the fact that he had the presence of mind to always keep a Lotus because he knows that the AM is going to try to kill him, so he could run out of mana, so he couldn't cast his Sunder. And every time he got ganked, this is one of those that he managed to turn around, but he had a Lotus every single time to survive.
Because it gives you like exactly enough mana to press the Sunder, and that's all he needs.
And you're also getting less damage from Mana Void.
Yeah.
We see it progress a little bit further, and we're wondering how late game is this going to go? Where are we going to see the carries end up for themselves? But a specific item that was picked up by Arme, Lacoste, you're like, this is it. This is where we're just going to start seeing the game kind of close out and go in the favor extreme game.
Yeah, this is way too early. This is 24 minutes we're talking about, where he has Falcon Blade, he has Manta Style, and does go for a very aggressive item, understanding that he can just build that item. It gives him damage, it gives him survivability against Anti-Mage, because Anti-Mage is not a hero that's going to be building into MKB by any time soon. This might be his 6th item, but we're talking about, 45-minute game potentially. And what happens after they get a pick off, they try to go on the enemy tier 3 tower. As soon as they got that butterfly, then they decide to take another fight, understanding that their timing right now is super strong. They can take the fight, and TB, he doesn't need to be caring too much about it. He's going to be joining the fight slightly later, and you can see that Ducalis is holding that for a really long time, that ulti, but as soon as Ame joins, this fight is pretty much over. He was missing. P-Vision thought maybe they could take a fight, but he comes in and they clean up and they take Roche after that. So there's a lot of, the whole sequence of the events that does happen where they just cannot punch back.
I mean, it's not just the anti-mage with the butterfly. I feel like you're also making it very difficult for Storm. Storm actually does a lot of right clicks in the team fight, and if he's missing, it means that he's losing a lot of his damage potential in the team fights. That's why the butterfly timing was so strong.
Before we continue talking about this game, there is one more person I want to listen from, and that's Purge.
Thanks, Nat. Yeah, this is the probably 4th time that we've seen Alchemist support so far from P-Vision in this tournament. We saw that a bunch in the Road to the International, and it looked pretty subpar. And I have to say, this is probably the best early game that 9 Class had out of all of those games. So I was more impressed with this play in this game. And that's because he did some pretty decent trading. He got this first blood on X Nova. But let's talk about the negatives of Alch support. Number 1, it takes you forever to charge up your stun. And at really high level play, the windows that you have to get kills to defend your allies are really small.
They finished
They
2
can be
matches
split,
already.
seconds. So having to plan ahead 5 seconds ahead of time to throw your stun is very difficult. And having to be in melee range to throw your stun is very difficult. So in a lot of these cases, he's in the right place at the right time. He's helping to almost get kills on heroes.
Was so
but
good
consistently
how,
what's happening is he's falling just a little bit
survived
short. And that's because the hero has kind of weak base stats, and your
survived with
contribution
30
to the fight
Sunder,
just
that
aren't
gives.
that much. In this case, really good bait by him to run in. He charges up his stun, and he throws it at the same, like halfway early. He did like a half charge. But this is like his contribution. It's acid spray, and it's like 150 physical damage. And that doesn't get better as the game goes on, because people get more and more armor naturally. So his contribution in these circumstances isn't that great. And even with his ultimate, which gives him a lot of regen, the problem is he doesn't have any items to make his survivability higher. So any regen you buy or get from his ultimate is just not that good. So it's difficult for him to utilize his benefits. It's pretty easy for his opponents to kill him. He doesn't actually farm that fast because he doesn't actually get a chance to buy items.
Which
that help him
axe is
farm
good
faster,
here?
so he doesn't really
Okay,
get benefit
Oracle
from his,
axe.
innate. Across the board, just underwhelming.
Oracle axe,
and that's just the
green.
reality of Elk support.
Thank you, Purge.
No,
We've seen
that's
it
sharp.
win before. This time around, it was
Oh,
not
that's sharp.
successful for
Oracle X is
P-Vision.
invisible.
Yeah, as we saw
It's on,
later in the
when he
game, just
used
nothing
performance.
really on the table to offer, and I think that's also one of the biggest differences coming
For
into
Storm,
the series.
the
We said
blue
P-Vision,
hole
it's going to be a
is
big
not
focus.
bad.
What supports can
It's
they
good,
get for
team fight's
themselves?
really
And
good.
it's not just
The
9 Class, but Ducalis as well. I
second
thought
skill.
the Oracle would have offered something in way of team fight. I thought there would have been the ability to delay the team fights, give them a little bit of something extra in the tank.
But they never got
with
to
that
late game.
duo, there really actually wasn't anything on offer.
I think it's all of the other heroes paired with Alchemist. Like
Aim
I don't
was
feel it's also
sad.
what the supports are
Aim,
buying.
like,
You want to give him
what
supports
could
that
he
buy
do
now.
also, ma?
Like, don't you feel like
Plus
that's when
now
they are
now this
most
aim they
comfortable?
build
I'm
Dominator
not
first
a
one.
disbeliever in the Alch
Yeah.
support. I was personally watching all of his replays during the Road to International.
What if you
I'd love
rush
to
Belfury?
absolutely grief my pub, so I was like, oh,
I
maybe
mean,
I can
he
do this.
would
And I
get,
watched,
probably.
and I can tell you, it's not something that you could do in
Belfury,
pubs, and
then
it's something you have to be
Dominator.
very careful doing in competitive.
I
What
mean,
watched
Dominator
was
is
there was always
You know, I
someone
mean, like-
for scouting
sacrificing
But then, like, see-
gang.
to 9 Class.
But then, like, see,
at
if you
a
if you
different
go in
point in the game.
Battle
One
Fury
point it would be
first,
satanic,
then
one
what's the use of
point
going
it would be
Dominator,
no
ma?
one, and it would
It'll be
rotate.
like a waste.
You need all of your cores
Yeah,
to be
that's
doing
one.
well and
Because
be
later
able
you're gonna
to
set
pressure
it
in
the
order
waste,
to do
so.
that. And I think with like an anti-mage, that's not likely. Like unless the anti-mage is somehow winning the lane so handedly, he can create pressure. But you need pressure from all of your cores.
So it seems like you have like a jungling hero, but he's way more greedier than like some Veno jungler. At least the Veno comes out of the jungle
It's
and
very similar to the Veno jungle, I would say. It's that level of greed.
I also think Venom might have, although this conversation isn't really about him, but ways to jungle a little bit better to kill those camps a bit more efficiently.
Yeah, he comes online much faster as well if we're talking about the jungle Venom that is meta, because you come in, you come with the Orchid, you come with, you know, Spirit Vessel, you come with
something
mech,
like that,
drums, whatever, but Alchemist, he's just buying components. Like, you're not actually getting the value out of the items that you're buying. It's just you're
What
getting
his
some
name?
stats, but other
This
than
guy
that,
who's
it's
speaking
really
right
not
now.
great. But also to point out that Oracle, like, he did a very good job because they played around
the
the
last
roles
one?
every single time. They brought the numbers,
Yeah.
but Extreme Gaming, you could see them move around and bringing in numbers.
Got
Even though you have a
la-
Sniper on your team who doesn't use the runes, but they are bringing 3-4 heroes with every single rune just to make sure that Storm's not getting it.
Yeah, that's another big impact, is how can you dissuade the usage of something that's so important to a hero, such as their innate. And I do think that if any team is going to be able to bounce back in this one, obviously we've already seen Extreme Gaming do it, but Astini, he's very good at that with P-Vision, right? He's a coach that we've always had such high energy from, but I also would love to see what he thought about this draft, how he's going to approach it again when they get back into those booths for Game 3.
I'm going to just say it. I feel like, historically speaking, Storm Anti-Mage has not worked. This is something that TI after TI, at the very least at Majors, we have seen. And a lot of the time, you have coaches coming into interviews after and saying, oh yeah, we picked Storm Anti-Mage. Like, the
They
timing
finished
just
the
doesn't work.
smoke break.
He is Mr. Lizard.
Well, the timing is perfect for these players to return back to the
Mr.
stage.
I swear,
Get
Salka
back into
Novak.
it, because our lower bracket
Out,
is
out
down to a game
of
number
all the
3.
types
It
of
is all
sports
on
and
this team as they make
competitions
it
and
to the grand
you know in the
finals
world,
of TI 2025.
I feel like
here.
esports
There's a lot on
players,
the
they're
lines
the
for how
most
they've
normal
spent the last
looking
few minutes
people lah.
discussing how they want to come into this.
They
A
don't go
fresh
out, you know.
slate is what both teams are
Yeah,
really
like
need,
they
and
look like an average person lah. They dress up. They don't, you know, they don't
Yeah,
care.
like, okay, unless you're talking about Chinese,
Number 2 was that
people there like kind of like dress up.
Yeah.
during this
I
whole
mean,
TI, this is the first time that
the
TI
average
has
is
been
sports
But
player.
even if you
They're
look at
just
average,
like a normal
but even
person.
look at Chinese someone, they're not that flashy, like
This also
fancy, man.
tells you the story about the
Yeah,
game. I
yeah.
think it comes down to Sniper being
You
able
look
to
at
defend
these
the tower as
football
well. They
stars
brought
and
in numbers,
everything,
10 minutes in, they
these
try to go
tennis
for,
stars,
the
oh,
play, try to go for
they
it,
look
but, it's way too
so,
much damage,
you
and,
know,
you don't
they
really
look
have that much, even though
so.
you did have
Bossy.
Beastmaster, but Beastmaster also got shut
Yeah.
down. Like, even though
Oi!
they didn't necessarily kill him, they did manage to push him out of the lane multiple times. You saw Snapfire coming to the lane, forcing Oracle to TP,
Go
use
XG.
Edict to try to save him. They don't
Finals-
get the kill, but they
finals-
also get something out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I like actually that you brought that
I
up.
want, I need XG to
When
win,
they
and I
opened
want
their
XG
draft
to
in
win.
Beastmaster, I also felt like he kind of didn't really get enabled as the same as the Centaur. And Beastmaster is also like as nature a very greedy hero. You want your carry gating over to you. So when you have not just the Storm anti-mage problem, but you have the anti-mage with the Beastmaster, which doesn't really offer a lot of synergy. Because Beastmaster, I think in most cases you want heroes that can abuse the fact that you can stick together early, take towers, you know, with the auras, like heroes like Gyro, for example, Luna, for example, you know, that can come online earlier. With the anti-mage, it kind of feels like maybe you don't really have a lot of like overlapping timings in the early game, so you don't interact with each other a lot in the, or at all, you know, in the early game. So that could have been the main problem why the early game was so difficult for the Elk and Oracle to be useful.
You know, maybe the idea
Rims, can
is
you
that
launch
with
the
Helm
Valhalla,
Dom,
please?
Anti-Mage can maybe function like that, even though it's not traditionally a hero that can rotate to something like a Beastmaster. Clearly it didn't work, right? Like this idea was wrong, but maybe that's the idea. Because I agree, you pick Beastmaster, the
Rims.
hero controls an area, he farms, and he
Somebody
creates
called
this
him.
presence where you can no longer enter into that area without just dying. And it's this map control hero, so any carry that rotates to that is cool. He doesn't rotate to them to get kills, so maybe that's the issue, and you have to try these things in a game in order to figure out that, okay, because the Dom thing is completely new. Nobody was going Dom on anti-mage.
And also because I think in the recent series that we have in the main event, there's like a huge change in the way the middle lane is viewed, where we are picking more heroes that can defend and play around the mid tower instead of those rotating heroes, right? So with the Beastmaster, it's like you're waiting for your mid laner to rotate. But the Storm, in theory, he could rotate, but he couldn't leave because the Sniper was keeping him there. So it doesn't really unleash the Beastmaster skill.
I think the Sniper has to go. Not
100%.
necessarily in the first phase, but I think in the second phase you might need to remove it. This was the big part of the problem that they did face in this second game, and it's XM Sniper we're talking about. Like he's gonna find a way how to make this hero work.
It would be audacious to leave it, and it would be on purpose because they think they can beat it with something.
Well, we're soon to find out because I have fantastic news for everyone. We do have a game number 3.
P-Vision versus Extreme Gaming. Game 3.
A lower bracket game 3. You could not ask for anything more. These two teams are so evenly skilled. It's going to come down a lot to draft what they think they're going to need. Extreme Gaming loved what the Centaur did for them in game number 1. They're going to pick it up for themselves. And of course, P-Vision not changing on that. They think the Beast was still a fantastic opener for them.
And I also like the change that they made here. Actually, last game, they first picked the Snapfire. This time, they feel like because the Centaur was such a crucial role in the last game, and they feel like they wouldn't be able to get the Centaur in the next phase, so they're changing their pick order up. They're picking the Centaur first. I think the Centaur is not replaceable, but the Snap is actually replaceable.
Snap could be Hoodwink or
that could be Hoodwink or something.
Dark Willow.
Yeah. Maybe even a Rubik, I think a Rubik Centaur link could also
Yeah, that's not bad, especially if there's good steals. But we can see Sniper banned out. They actually will first phase ban it.
Yeah, so what are the other mid heroes that can actually sit and defend the towers right now with the Sniper and SF being removed? It's kind of like the Invoker. Invoker is still remaining here. Maybe that is something that both teams could actually go to. Because I think there's a lot of emphasis between strategizing around the mid area. You need to be able to defend and hold that area so you actually have full control of the map. And obviously also the runes, right? You control the tower, you're going to get the runes.
I think Extreme would be pretty happy to get an XM Puck. So I would imagine them picking Puck and then plus something that can cover for Puck.
Oh, they want to speed things up.
Like Puck Bane.
This is going to be very tempo. A lot of tempo coming up from P-Vision. You have Chen, something that Falcons did run a couple of times. You have Beastmaster with the helm of the Dominator as well, but this Beastmaster is still a flex pick. They could put it in the mid lane, so they want to see 2 heroes that Extreme Gaming is going to pick, and then they're going to decide where Beastmaster is going to go.
Centaur is pretty happy playing against Chen creeps though. Natural Crimson builder.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Like, you don't really care about the creeps as much.
We only seen exclusively Mana Burn up until yesterday when we saw KJ played with the yellow tomato creep.
So I imagine if Puck is coming out here, it's because they have to cover for it. Otherwise, you're getting like giga hard countered mid.
When you say hard countered mid, what does that look like?
Yeah, there's the DKs, Tinies of the world that are pretty good against Puck. Let's see, I mean, the biggest answer is, something like a Huskar. The question is, does
I wonder why people aren't picking Kazla.
Lower bracket
Is
finals.
that, is that in
It's a
Captain's
good Void
mode?
Spirit game. They don't have that much control.
He's what?
That's
He's
why
what?
That's a good
He's
matchup
not in
for him.
Captain's
You're also
mode.
going to be finding the backlines.
He's
Both
not
of
in
these
Captain's mode?
swords
Really?
from Extreme
No.
Gaming, they want to really keep the distance. You want to see Warlock in the backlines, waiting
But
until they
Ringmaster
drop
is-
Rock, Snapfire
Yeah,
with the
because
kisses.
Ringmaster
Right now,
came
they
out
don't
first,
have
so.
any jump, and they need to
Yeah.
find a way how to find
I guess when the
I mean,
next
the other thing you have to consider
hero
is
comes
if
out,
you pick a mid
they'll
hero and the enemy
they'll
bans
put
out 2
Kaz
carry
in
heroes,
captain.
do you have a replacement
Because he's
for
so
that
OP
carry?
I
So
feel
you're
like.
definitely considering whether you should pick the carry hero if there are no optimal replacements for that.
They'll be launching
How
a
does
new
Beast
hero
do
this
against
TI,
Puck? You
right?
could also Beast mid and
Probably.
then run
After
the
this,
Night Stalker off
after
to try to
this
hard counter the
match,
Puck.
I
don't feel
guess.
like Warlock pressures
They'll
something like a Night
showcase.
Stalker at all.
And then
Yeah, no. You
Nia
push the lane
Kana
up
will
with
come.
Phantom Bonds, I think that's what he wants, as Night Stalker.
Yeah,
Did you see XG's game against BB
That
team
could work
yesterday?
in theory,
I watch, bro. I
but I
watch
think
all.
their concern right now here is...
Oh my
less of
god,
the
that's
matchup,
when.
more about
Oh
the
my god,
carry.
like imagine
They actually get
17k
both
lead
teams
gone
will
in
last
like
with their carries,
30
right? So
seconds.
what if they pick one hero and then ban 2 and
Yeah,
then
that's
Shit.
Look, something like Ursa, something along those lines.
Sven was
Yeah, that's
too
very
good
good.
lah
It's pretty much
yesterday.
And also
And the
lane
Bad Rider
matchup against
also.
the Centaur. This is an extremely good lane matchup.
Bro, we
Centaur
watched
struggles
together,
in this
bro.
lane.
What the
Usually you
fuck
have to
you
buy a
talking
couple
about,
of
yeah?
rings to be able to stay in the lane. But even
No,
then, the lane
yesterday
is
we
still
watched.
very difficult.
I think you just don't. You just don't.
We
like-
watch
I think XG's actually okay with this.
Falcons versus
They're gonna do
Paravision,
good
and
last
then
game.
you guys went to play
Literally
Dota,
couldn't wait,
remember?
dragged to campus.
Then after that,
And so
it
now my
was
question is, will XG pick
XG
one
versus
last pick
BB team.
that will like completely hard counter a TA, so Almay could rotate through the portal
Let me check
with
the
a free
schedule.
farm Centaur who's cutting wave and take the tower.
Heck, look at the second game, XG versus BB
yeah,
team,
I
right?
mean,
Oh,
Gyro
that
counter
last
is
fight
also,
was
Gyro is
also.
I know,
too
I
good,
saw-
man.
I saw the whole
The
game.
standard Gyro plus Warlock lane,
Ah.
which is very, very good. I mean, anything that can gate, gank, and pressure, the TA would be the most optimal right now.
Sven-
Definitely taken out
yeah,
the
his
TB.
Sven
TB is also a really
is
good carry-to-carry matchup against the TA. And I feel like it
dangerous.
seems like Extreme Gaming also really favors the carry to carry matchup. They want to have a matchup where Army is very, very comfortable, and you've already heard it from the interview. Army is going to carry us, you know. Yeah, put all the eggs in the Army basket.
Whoa!
Whoa! Against the Beastmaster, they don't have explosive damage to kill you immediately.
Yeah, that actually could really work well with the
that guy.
Throw, Warlock lane, and
Yeah.
you have to throw with the centaur and the card later, which works really well.
Draw Ranger has fallen off.
Yeah, we're definitely all fans of the cart, the late game that Centaur can come out. Extreme Gaming, so many options open now that they feel a little bit more stable.
TRA, I think
that really opens up for
Sven's still goodly on
It's not an easy
Sven is fine lah. Yeah. They don't really have.
No, because like see,
Oh,
because
love.
they couldn't
he
ban
clear,
everything, so they have to pick
the,
something that is going to be able to cover
neutrals
for the
also,
third
nah.
best hero as well.
Yeah.
And they also have to make sure that the hero works with their lineup. So a lot to consider here in this 23rd pick here for P-Vision.
Yeah, I mean, they have a ban before.